What's up, y'all? Justin, Brady, I got Scotty here as well. How y'all doing?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, Brady? Long time no see.
I know it's been a couple hours. Were there some races today? I think I might have missed something.
There was some races today for sure.
Oh man, that was cool. We were halfway through Derby weekend already, and I feel like we've already had some surprising things happen, and then some horses that really stepped up to the plate today. How impressive was She Dares the Devil? How game was she?
Unbelievable. Yeah, the one horse that I think was a Scotty Longshot. I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah, we thought that the one was going to pressure her, but she showed so much heart in the stretch and was just not letting anybody pass her today. So, I think a lot of us were pretty close to hitting some tickets today, and so hopefully we can take that momentum into tomorrow.
Malafat was really one that the Kentucky Oaks, huh? I'm just seeing that actually for the first time. I've been on the road.
I tell you what, it was a duel in the stretch.
But,
she had a 91 GSR, and I'll tell you what, search results was dead game with Ortiz aboard in the stretch run, and Johnny V just got Malafat up in time. But that was really impressive. I thought that the Fairgrounds fillies were going to run a little bit better than they did, but Malafat proved that she's the best today.
Yeah, what up, everybody? Look, it's the three of us today. Hopefully we can not step over each other, huh? Big day tomorrow. We're going to be down at Del Mar tomorrow, the three of us. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we were over in San Diego today, and that was a really good time. We're at Monarch, and that restaurant is incredible, facing the ocean over there. Brady, what did you think of that place? I know Justin was on a plane, so he didn't see it, but it was incredible.
I was impressed. I'll tell you what, it's not so bad out here on the West Coast after all. We've got a nice event planned for tomorrow for the Derby, and just scouting it out today. And, it's up on like a second or third story overlooking the ocean. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a good time. We might not be in Louisville, Kentucky, but I have to tell you what, Del Mar's not so bad.
Why does Anthony want to be talking crap already about me getting my ass kicked by you anyways?
I don't know. Is the word out about that? Who's talking?
Yeah, I was just going to say, who got that word out anyways? I know I didn't say anything, Brady.
I haven't told a soul. No, that was fun. We got in a round of golf the other day and got our minds off of horses for about 5 hours. That was a lot of fun.
It was. Hey, Keith, Rodney. What's up, Chris? Who had a good day? Was it Chris? Somebody had a really good day, right? Who was it? Yesterday.
Chris yesterday caught. Yeah, he caught that horse at Lone Star. He'll have to chime in. He sent that to me. I was busy getting ready for the show, and he sent that to me kind of last minute, and it had a huge increase in GSR. Let's find it real quick. So 29, I think it was race 5, Lone Star Park. This horse had, the 12 horse. Look at that, $88 horse, Fabulous Indy, and the track was wet. And look at this GSR increase.
Wow.
From a 55
to 75. I don't think a lot of people know how to use that tool like that. So click on the GSR again, real quickly.
Like just the GSR
No,
plus?
on the left. No, on the left. Just click on the GSR right there. Just click on. Okay. No, go back to the horse.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we're going to look at the past performances. So the way you do it is you look at the GSR 47 on that last race, and then you look up to the right there. So it was 9 points different from one race to the other, right? That was the difference.
Well, but then it was wet. So he went into GSR plus.
That's true. Good point.
Look at the wet number. The wet 75. Number was a 76. Yeah, wow. 75 overall, 76. So if you take from a 76 and you go back and look what last time, and in a 50, or a 50. I mean, it was a 25-point increase. And it, he said first time on the mud. Well, yeah, I mean, and he cleaned up. Chris, I know you did. I mean, he sent me a text this morning that he was like, it was something like, I've never been so hungover after a horse race or something.
All the reason to celebrate. 20-1. I'll tell you what, Scott, you had a 20-1 morning line a few months ago that you were talking about earlier today that you hit. And so, that's the little things you got to find, really going with this with a fine tooth comb and finding those big GSR jumps. Is that where we're seeing most of the 20-1 morning line shots that we're hitting for bombs? It's got to be GSR.
It's the GSR for sure. That's where we're seeing it. Yeah. You guys, can you believe where we were this time last year? Like, if you think about where we were, I mean, what a crazy year. Last year, do you remember they were doing the, what was that? They were doing the virtual Kentucky Derby. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
So what they did was they did the Kentucky Derby virtually, and they did a computer simulated race with all the Triple Crown winners. I got my ass kicked on that race.
I don't know. What was Secretariat's GSR? Yeah, it's funny. He was never losing that race. And I don't know. I had Justify, but I don't even think he hit the board. Poor guy. So, yeah, what did you guys hit today? Let us know in the chat if you hit something big today. I know we gave out a couple yesterday. We gave out that 7-horse obligatory that Jose Ortiz galloped home at 16-1 to beat Day Out of the Office. How about that ride to blow up a lot of those multi-race wagers? I know we got a lot of response on Twitter from viewers that had that horse. And so, look at the horse's GSR. Can we pull up that race, Justin? If we go to race 9, look at the GSR 75, but look at the SOR on this obligatory horse. This was a huge step down in class for the 7-horse. And what we talked about is really visualizing how a race can unfold. And so we've got the data here of the GSR second highest and the highest SOR, but visually we broke down the pace. We said there was 5 speed horses in this race, and they all went, and it was a pace collapse. And that was the perfect scenario for this 7-horse to gallop at 16-1.
And what about what Jeff saying, guys? Like, there's no Lasix for the first time in the Kentucky Derby. None. No Lasix. Bob Baffert has a 15-1 shot. What else? We got a big long shot, and Brooklyn Strong, who backed into the race, and Brad Cox has a horse in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, what the hell's going on here?
He's got 2.
Brad Cox has 2.
Yeah, might have to worry about the other Cox now. Who knows? Baffert's not even being talked about. Does that scare anybody right now that the only horses that Medina Spirit has lost to is Life is Good and Rock Your World, yet nobody's talking about him at 15-1?
Who is that, Brady? I missed.
Medina Spirit. I mean, usually Baffert's got the buzz horse. And literally, I haven't heard one article, one tweet, one podcast talking about Medina Spirit yet. And so, I don't know. I mean, when we get to the Derby race, we got to break down how we see it visually and go from there. I think he's going to be in a good position. So what you guys want to go over the late pick 6 today?
I think we should do, because that might take a while. I'm down for that. Let's focus in
on the stakes races. And, there's a lot of good races in the undercard early on, but I think that the biggest pools are always later in the card too. And so that's where you can really find some value. I think it starts on race 7 here.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Gilly, what's going on?
Do we want to use ticket generator, or we want to just talk through these 6 races? What do you guys think?
Let's just talk through them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
so race 7, the Derby City Distaff, Gamine, obviously. Where are you at, Scotty? I mean, what do you think here? Is Gamine a single? I know everybody's talking her up. What do you think?
I don't know how you beat her. I mean, the EE morning line is 1-5. Odds makers morning line is 1-5 as well. So, 49%. Bell's the one is an interesting horse. This horse has been facing good horses. That's the Scotty long shot. Yeah, I guess if there's a big pace up front and there's a meltdown up front, I think Bell's the one, could be the long shot. But I think Gamine looks awfully tough for Bob Baffert. John Velasquez is riding really good right now as well.
What do you think,
really
Brady?
is.
I mean,
yeah, and I'm a guy, I like to look at will pays a lot. And so I played the pick 6 today, and I was live to Travel Column in the last for a nice score. And I looked at the pick 6 will pay, and it was actually $2,000 short of the pick 5 will pay. And so for a 50-cent ticket versus a 20-cent ticket, because I think Maxfield was in the first leg. So when I'm looking at this race, for me, I'm probably going to pass on it in the pick 6 because I really don't see any value unless you think you can beat Gamine. And so singling a 1-9 shot or a 1-5 shot, how much value does that actually create? It actually hurts your value a little bit because everybody has that horse. And so unless somebody's trying to beat this horse, I probably will skip the pick 6 in favor of the pick 5 starting in the next race. I was at Santa Anita for Gamine's last race, call it a prep paid workout, and she was ultra impressive. And I like that Bob's gotten her back to the 7 furlong spot. And if you look at her GSR, this is exactly what Gamine wants to do. She's an 88 GSR. They figured out last year in the Oaks that didn't really want to go 2 turns. So let's put the horse in position to do what she's best at, and that's exactly what she's going to do tomorrow.
I so. For the viewers here, I love hearing the obligatory save the day. Like, Scott, I love that. Sounds like Trevor, I'm guessing that was the same race. I mean, that was awesome. I mean, not to jump away from Churchill race 7 tomorrow, but obligatory. I mean, 16-1, like, that was incredible. I'm with you guys. I mean, I think Gamine definitely looks good here. Belle's the One is interesting. And Scotty, I know you mentioned, Scotty Longshot, she has been running in some bang-up races. Corey Lannery knows how to ride at Churchill Downs. I mean, if you want a rider on a horse that maybe can blow up the board here, I feel like it's Corey. But if you're playing the pick 6, I think, Brady, to your point, you're going to kill your value potentially with just singling the 4. Maybe you play the pick 5, or if you think Belle's the One actually has a chance, maybe you go too deep there and single elsewhere. But
guys,
I hear you guys.
There's no speed in here. I mean, there is no speed. I mean, Gamine's gone. I mean, this is going to be 1-9 and going to win for 1. I mean, it's probably a free square, but I mean, there is just. I mean, she is caught for one of the easiest fields that she's probably ever faced, and there is zero speed. She's going to be 3 or 4 lengths in front. She's going to be cantering home. So, I mean, it is a free square in my mind. Yeah, I mean, one way of looking at it, you're right, Brady. I mean, but as far as skipping it because she's going to be such a big favorite and everybody's single, it's one way of looking at it for sure. I don't blame you, but why not play a pick 6? Because you're going to play a 20-cent pick 6 anyways, right? And then you're going to have a free square so you can spread out more in the other races possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And she passed the no Lasix test last time out, first time no Lasix, and still, won by 5. And so that question's been answered. Where we had Aunt Pearl today that was a 1-5, short price and bled and needed Lasix. And so we already have that question answered about Gamine. This should just be a formality for her tomorrow.
All right. We've talked about race 7 enough. Let's go on to race 8. We got
actually real quickly, guys. Real quickly, sorry, Justin, but Chris makes a good point. Like, if you take Gamine, and then what do you do in the last 5 legs? Just dump the favorites, like, and that's not a bad strategy, to be honest with you, Chris. Don't play too big of a ticket, and then just try to beat. Or if you think it's just all chalk, then maybe you can just cover less horses and do a small one, and do it multiple times. I mean, that's a tough one, because these are some big fields.
Absolutely. And you always seem to get a price on Derby Day in this late pick 5, and it's always tough to tell which leg it's going to come into. And so I always encourage people to play group tickets on these days, because spend a little bit more than you normally would, but go in with a buddy, and cover that race if you need to hit an all button somewhere, because with the pool sizes that we get, the next time we'll see pools this big will probably be the Breeders' Cup. And so, if you're unsure on a few legs, go ahead and try to hit that all button and get every price that you possibly can. I know I tossed 2 favorites today and it ended up working out.
Like in race number 10, right? I mean, so when you talk about trying to beat favorites, I mean, Whitmore is an 8-year-old, and look, top win percentage 24%, and then it's just literally wide open, right? So I mean, that looks like a race where you could possibly beat the favorite. Wide open race. It looks like a Churchill Downs race number 11. I mean, you remember, Justin, I'm a big fan of Colonel Liam, but we watched Colonel Liam win the Pegasus World Cup on the turf, right? So I was all over that one, and Colonel Liam broke last in that race as well. So I thought, maybe Colonel Liam might be a single, but I thought this 5-horse 2 domestic spending could be a horse. But yeah, okay, let's just we'll stay in order. Let's go on to the next race, and we'll kind of see the way it plays out.
Yeah, you're trying to take us out. You're trying to take us out of order here. What's happening?
I know. I was getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. So what we got? Race 8. This is the Pat Day Mile. So this is always a great race because to me, this is of the haves and have-nots. These are the horses that were on the Derby train early on, and then also the horses that figured out they were better off going one turn. And so we've got names like Prevalence, who was just a hot shot just 3 weeks ago until they ran in the Wood Memorial and figured out that the Derby trail wasn't going to work out. And Dream Shake just ran 4 weeks ago at the Santa Anita Derby. And so these horses were going to be prominent players in the Derby. Now they're wheeling them back to a one-turn mile. Maybe it's going to be better suited for them from a trainer's perspective. And then we've got a Bob Baffert horse in Defunded, and then Jackie's Warrior, which was the odds-on favorite in last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And so this race is actually loaded. What do you guys see so far?
I agree with you. It's wide open.
Yeah.
I like Jackie's Warrior, the top Scotty pick. I do think that horse is doing well, and this horse is somewhat tactical, will be near the pace. I just don't think that horse really liked the sloppy track over at Oakland Park. Also, plenty of space in between the race, and Joel Rosario jumps aboard too, and I think this horse will be tough, but only 21% to win. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
I was with you on Jackie's Warrior. I thought that Prevalence was interesting here. And when I looked at Prevalence, and I looked at GSR Plus, and we were looking at this earlier, I thought was very interesting here in that you see a lot of gaps in the GSR Plus. And it's a little bit of a reach, but my hope here is that he just is a sprinter and should absolutely love the 8 furlong one turn mile here. So from that perspective, in a really good GSR, and you see a gap 76, 69, 79, 70, 83, and mainly because when he ran in the Wood, and this was the race that Bourbonic blew up the board, just everybody thought Prevalence was going to run well and didn't. So I forgave that a little bit, and I'm hoping that Prevalence maybe shows up here. That would be another horse outside the 3 that I thought was interesting.
If we go back to the 3,
the horse ran on March 11th, then comes back 4-3, and now comes right back again. And they're not giving this horse any kind of break. They're certainly not treating this horse like like a nice horse that this horse should be. Well bred for sure, no doubt about it. But I can understand your point for sure. I just don't know how much class this horse has. We'll see, but I would have liked to see a little bit more spacing after that poor performance in the Wood. But the cutback does make sense, Justin.
Hey, Justin, if you go back to the 3 real quick, Jackie's Warrior, here's one thing that I really like looking at when I'm trying to handicap a race when you're cutting back in distance is let's toss out his last 2 efforts, going a mile and a 16th and going 2 turns. If you toss out his last 2 efforts and look at his back class, won a race by 5 with an 82 SOR. If he runs anything close to that, that will be good enough to win this race if he can repeat that effort that he did 3 back. So they figured out this horse doesn't want to go 2 turns. We've tried it twice. Okay, now we're going back to what he's special at. And so I really have a strong opinion on Jackie's Warrior here. But I think the number 4 Defunded deserves a look. And so Bob Baffert doesn't call Irad Ortiz Jr. very often. And I think we might all agree he's probably the hottest rider in the country over the last couple of years. So he usually gets first choice at his mounts. But this horse, he's improved. And so they ran him in the Santa Anita Derby, and yeah, you had to go against Dream Shake. You had to go against Medina Spirit. You had to go against Rock Your World, going 2 turns. And, maybe this horse just took a little bit longer to come along. And so I think I'm giving the 4 a shot as well. It's hard to go against Irad. I thought the win percentage was a little low, which was a little alarming for me for 5%. But, when you put those Pegram and Watts and Silks on for Baffert, usually they mean business. But I think the horse really fit here. Wheeling him back to a mile, back to 1 turn. What are your guys' thoughts on Defunded?
Personally, I'm not a fan of the horse. I mean, the horse won a maiden race going 6 furlongs and then goes in the Santa Anita Derby and was kind of an also ran, really didn't run, disappointed a little bit. And, had a big layoff from that first maiden race and then went on 3-6. So, when I look at this horse, all I see is a horse that won a maiden race and then got stepped up in class to the Santa Anita Derby. But it is a Scotty's second pick, and this is a wide open race. So it's just personally not my favorite. I think Dream Shake I like Jackie's Warrior and I like the speed, but I think that Peter Urton's got a live horse here in Dream Shake, who's the top win percentage guys as well. Broke from the rail last time out, going 9 furlongs. Didn't run a bad race, and I think this one cutting back to 8 furlongs could be the horse, because this horse is tactical and going to need to be from that post position, going that 1-turn mile at Churchill Downs.
I would agree with you on Dream Shake too. Yeah, I think after he broke his maiden, that was ultra impressive. Then they immediately stepped him up in class and, tried to get back to the Derby trail. And so I think that this horse is perfectly placed. I'm glad Peter sent him over there this week. And I really think Dream Shot has a great chance too. Outside of that, I really wasn't interested in much more. I looked at Joe Frazier, the 12 horse for Cox. I looked at both of the Romans horse, Ultimate Badger and Sitting on Go, and none of them just seemed to really fit here. And so I felt like this was down to 4 horses personally.
I'd agree with you.
The 11 is Scotty Longshot, so I tried to look at the 11 a little bit. Noble Reflection, outside post. The morning line also is not a ton lower, but you get a little bit lower, which I always love, as you all know. The interesting thing here is I think that Noble Reflection might handle the 8 furlongs here well. It's Baltus and Velasquez, 4% horse. It's not the worst long shot in the world. I have not looked at the work report. It looks to be working well. It is coming back quick after not running in the Lexington around 2 turns. But again, a little bit of the same angle as Prevalence with the 5 is that can he improve sprinting and going 1 turn? Again, I find it really hard to go against Jackie's Warrior here, though. Like, I think that he could be in it up. Like, this might be a single daily double, a single pick 6. I think, can you find a price and a couple legs and play a pick 6 here where you have 3 to 4 singles and go cheap and you can go? Jackie's Warrior would be one way to look at it, I feel like.
One of the things you have to look at, though, guys, is Noble Reflection is very fast, and that from that post, from the 11 post, this horse has one way of going and going to have to send right away, and that's not easy to win from that post at Churchill Downs. And then Jackie's Warrior is fast as well, and really only has one way of going, can rate a little bit, but is going to be on the inside, so is going to be getting pressured and might have to move and go too fast early on with Noble Reflection. So you could see the 3 horse and the 11 horse dueling a little bit, which could set it up for a horse. Who's the horse or horses are going to sit in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots? Those are the ones that are interesting to me.
So you got, I'm just looking here, maybe Prevalence, right?
Prevalence could rebound for sure. And off of that 7/8 win, maiden breaker, and then moving up to an allowance race and still winning impressively. Maybe, that was just too fast, too soon for Prevalence. Maybe. I mean, the wood, it was not a strong wood, though. That's the thing. I mean, a 64 SOR, that's not very strong, but maybe this horse just, so these sprinters can go 1 turn. Over at Gulfstream Park, that 1-turn mile, right? So this horse has already proven he can go 1-turn mile. Good post position. We see the horse is tactical. Top GSR, yeah, maybe Prevalence is the horse.
You're going to get a good price. Probably going to be every bit of it, 5 to 6 to 1. Somebody asked on the 6, Starring in My Dreams.
What's up, Cindy?
One an allowance at Churchill in the slop. Did not handle the 2 turns at all here. I guess that was 2 turns as well. So gets back to sprinting. Saez. Anything else? Looks like Eric likes the funded. Scotty, Brady, anybody else here we want to talk about? What about Whiskey Double? I've heard people talking about Whiskey Double. Santana, Asmussen, what are your guys' thoughts on Whiskey Double?
He's out into mischief, so we know he's going to be good at sprinting, from a breeding perspective. But I just felt like I looked at my top 4 horses here, and I felt like this was just a step below. And so that's pretty much what I got out of that, and nothing more than that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I have mixed feelings there. I want to go with Prevalence, but then I worry that, this is the 3rd race in a short while, and Why is it? Maybe the horse is doing well. Maybe there was an excuse. That often happens in racing. Maybe there was an excuse for prevalence in that last race. It's got a 12% number in a wide open race like this. 12% is actually pretty good. Dream Shake. I mean, I don't like that it's not in the top 2 Scotty guys, but maybe Dream Shake is the horse because the horse is tactical, and so maybe Dream Shake is the horse to watch out for. Going to get a good trip. So I probably would be leaning myself towards prevalence and Dream Shake. Those two.
What Scotty, what do you think here on Dream Shake from a GSR perspective when you see that? And looks like he wanted to go 2 turns from a GSR and just didn't handle it. Was it because it was too tough? You see a drop in the GSR here, though, now, and I guess does have a good number at 7 furlongs. But do you just think, hey, Dream Shake's dropping down in against a little bit easier than he has been facing and, has a shot here?
Well, see, when the metrics aren't lining up like this, so that's a wonderful question because you do have to look at that. You can't ignore it. You see 25%. You see, a good post position. You see tactical. You see a horse that's stakes placed. So but then you can't ignore the GSR of 61, the lowest in the field. Yeah, you have to look at it. So it makes it tough to commit. It really does. And so a lot of people have said, well, Scotty, what am I supposed to go with? Well, it's giving you the metrics. It's not lining up. It's telling you it's tough. And all of us have to make a decision on what we're going to play. I like the horse. I'm probably, the more I'm looking at this, guys, I'm probably leaning more towards prevalence, sitting a really good trip with Tyler Gaffleone.
And another thing with prevalence is he's being wheeled back pretty quickly, which has to be a positive sign from the trainer, saying, you know what? Last time didn't go as well as I thought it would. We're disappointed. This horse is still fit. He came out of the race well. Let's run him back again in 3 weeks. And so that's a good sign for me that they're already placing this horse back, because I could have seen them easily just shutting this horse down until, maybe the Travers or something like that if the Derby trail didn't go well. But they want to run and they want to win.
Yeah, that's a great point because I was initially turned off by this, but he must be feeling it is a good trainer, Brendan Walsh, 16% for the year. And he's got this horse in, and he must be like the horse. Maybe something happened in the wood we just don't know about, right? And so he comes back with a 3/8 drill, and on April 24th, and GSR 79, top GSR in the field, very competitive field, and there's some speed in here, and this is going to set it up for a horse to close. I truly believe somebody's coming from behind in this race, whether it's tactical or from way behind, but somebody's coming from behind in this race. I'm going to play against Jackie's Warrior and Noble Reflection for sure. Defunded, I can't get by that 5% win, but the EE morning line is 7-2, and he's Scotty's second pick, and this horse should really get a good trip.
So
yeah,
I know he
should. I mean, anybody that can work it out, it's Ortiz. So
I know that, Brady, you talked about sitting on the go, and I put a little note here just on as we talk through this. Sitting on the go has been racing very tough, absolute bomber here. But Scotty, to your point, if you look back, sitting on the go did run 8 furlongs here at Churchill Downs, coming from the clouds and winning in a 64. This is a 72, so it is a big step up. But again, you can't ask for a better rider at Churchill Downs than Corey Lannery on an absolute bomber. So I would just say don't forget about sitting on the go, especially if you're playing a vertical. I think this horse can hit the board and just has been in really tough and has been routing, and now finally gets back here to sprinting at 8 furlongs where he did win, and at Churchill Downs. And when you look at GSR Plus, he looks to be a sprinter. So he does not necessarily look to want to maybe route, and he has not proven that he can route, although he was in very tough. So it could be a really sneaky long shot. From the perspective of win percent, he is 7%. So he's not 1 or 2. He is 7%, and you're going to get probably every day of 20 to 25 to 1. So I would just say don't leave out of exotics.
Guys, I just noticed this, and it's something that I look for. But Jackie's Warrior, the 3 horse, is a multiple Grade 1 winner. Has anybody else in this field even won one Grade 1?
No.
I mean, this is not a strong field. Now, the only thing I will say is that was facing 2-year-olds, and a lot of times as these horses, they going into their next season, they don't always run that same way. I mean, this horse was the favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And so maybe we're not giving enough love to Jackie's Warrior. Maybe Jackie's Warrior needed that last race. I mean, really did not run well in the Southwest over at Oaklawn Park, but it was a sloppy track. So, again, I think that the way we're talking about this, we're all realizing that this seems like a really wide open race.
And what is Steve Asmussen really, really good at? Dirt sprinters going one turn. I think of the recent horses like Nashville, Matoli, Volatile before he got hurt, and then Jackie's Warrior came along. And so this has seemed like it's been Steve Asmussen's bread and butter for the last couple of years. And so, for the ownership group, you got to try the Derby when you have a horse like this. But I really think that this configuration is what the 3 wants to do. And so we'll see if he can get it done. I don't know how much this horse likes taking pace pressure. I don't think that this horse wants to see another horse after the first 6 steps out of the gate. And so that's what kind of worried me in the Breeders' Cup after he didn't break so well. He actually ended up sitting 3rd or 4th and then just kind of threw in the towel after that. So some of those horses, they're like that. If you eye them, they either quit or they keep on going. And so we'll find out tomorrow what Jackie Warrior has left in the tank.
Well, and I you know what? I think to your point, this could be, you're right. Look at the last 2 races. They've both been 8.5 furlongs. I maybe we're just looking at a horse that Max wants to go a mile.
Yeah. If we just take out his last 2 efforts going a mile and a 16th 2 turns, if he didn't race in those 2 races and we were just looking at his first 4 performances, this horse would be 2-5. And so, I mean, this would be kind of your Gamine looking price if we didn't have the last 2 races of them trying to take a shot at the Derby. And so that's what kind of makes me lean towards the 3 a lot stronger. Who else is going with the 3 here? I mean,
Noble Reflection for sure on the outside.
Noble Reflection's going to go. Is it cheap speed or is it legit? Because Prevalence is going to probably sit the pocket trip, sitting 3rd or 4th. Dream Shake's going to sit his normal trip, sitting about 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. The 10's going to go. Joe Frazier, the Cox horse on the outside, is going to go. Noble Reflection's going to go. And what I like is that a speed horse for mine draws to the inside. So he's actually going to have first run into the stretch and be able to get his position on the rail if that's where he wants to be, while the other horses are coming from the way outside. So I think it does set up for a little bit of a post-draw advantage for Jackie's Warrior to be inside.
Yeah, and the horse, I think it could rate a little bit, right? That first lifetime start where he broke his maiden, he did rate some, and I think he's going to have to rate here. I mean, they're going to be going crazy fast up front, I would imagine, because Noble Reflection only has one way of going, and from that post is going to have to go. So it's going to be very interesting.
And so the 10 and 12 are going as well. The 10, 11, 12 all have speed. So this will be interesting if somebody can pick up the pieces, because the 10's going to go, the 11 is 100% going, and I think Joe Frazier, the 12, is probably going to send as well. We'll see, but from that outside post, I would expect that Flo sends the Cox horse here.
And the 10 horse guys, Dreamer's Disease. Listen, in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, this horse had the lead against Jackie's Warrior, was actually faster than Jackie's Warrior, and then Jackie's Warrior came up and actually at the top of the stretch got the lead. That's the type of trip we could see going the 1-turn mile. I don't see, now that I'm looking at this, Jackie's Warrior is not going to have the lead here. Jackie's Warrior is going to have to sit probably a length or 2 behind, and it's just if Jackie's Warrior can do that, then this is the best horse in the race.
And that's why we run the race, right?
Yeah. But that's
exactly a great race to get a value play here, maybe. If like we talked about with Gamine, earlier on in the card, this is one where I could see a mid-price coming out of nowhere too. I do like our top 4 horses for win contenders, and I think that a lot of these speed horses could just all go together and fade as well. And so this should be a fun race tomorrow in the pick 6 sequence.
I'll tell you, on when I do a ticket, at least one of my tickets is going to single Jackie's Warrior. I just have a feeling somehow Jackie's Warrior is going to find a way to get this done. I just feel like Joel Rosario is going to get this horse to relax a little bit, and I just think this horse is just naturally so fast that it's had the lead. But I just based on that first race, I have the feeling that maybe the horse can rate some. And I think that this horse, you guys, we could see this horse as a champion sprinter one day. We might see that. This is a very talented horse. This horse does not want to go 2 turns, not against top competition.
All right, let's go to race 9. In the chat, yeah, Corky, we hit obligatory. That was awesome. Let's move on to race 9.
Top 4 horses.
We're on the.
Excuse me, Justin. I'm sorry. 3. Who are our top 4 horses? I know 3, 5. What? 3, 4, 5, 8. Is that what it is?
That's what I had.
Okay. 3, 4, 5, 8. All right, Justin. Go ahead.
I do think the 9 might hit the board, so do not leave the 9 off. Like especially if you're playing verticals. 9th race. So American Turf 8.5, grade 2. What do you think, Brady? What we're on the turf here. Annex top Scotty, also top win percent, tied with win from within, who's actually a price. Where'd you land here?
Yeah, so this race has gotten me the last 3 years. And so Digital Age won this race 2 years ago. Somebody else beat me in this race. So this is a tricky race where we oftentimes can get about an 8 to 10 to 1 shot to win this race. And when I first pulled up the list of horses that were running in this race, I looked at the one Excellent Timing. And the first thing that you see is Chad Brown, a speed horse on the lead, and you get Rispoli up, who's probably the best or the best turf jockey out on the West Coast. But then I went to EquinEdge, and if we can pull up the GSR for Excellent Timing, does this horse want to run on the turf? Because his first 3 starts, he's ran on the dirt, and his GSRs were decent. And if you look at his GSR going to the turf, he drops all the way down into the low 60s. So to me, if I'm using this tool to tell me, is this horse going to take to the turf? The answer would be no. And so I think this horse is going to get better.
The only thing, Brady, I would say, because I looked at when I looked at this race, I love the whole card. Churchill Downs is so tough, and Scotty, I know you and I talked about that. Here's the only thing I would say about that, Brady, because I did the exact same thing. Is that I said this is not a turf horse, and then I said, well, Chad Brown is not stupid. Umberto is a great turf jockey. Let me look at this a little bit. And I said, yeah, this horse might want dirt more than turf. Then I went and looked. When you look at the GSR Plus, he's a 69 on the dirt at 8.5. He's a 62 on the turf. But look at 9 furlongs, 67 on turf, 66 on dirt. The only thing I would say there is this to me, and Scotty, I want to hear your perspective on this horse, because also this horse is 5 to 1 from versus a 10 to 1 morning line perspective. Is like it's a well-rounded horse is the only thing I would say. And so can you immediately toss it that it doesn't want the turf? I think is a question mark is the only thing I would add, Brady, because I did the exact same thing. But I would be curious, Scotty, on your perspective.
Yeah, well, it's Chad Brown, and he knows when a horse can run on the turf. My initial reaction as well was to throw this horse out. This horse is so fast, and this horse is going to get the lead. Second off the layoff, I mean, this horse is really a nice horse. Rispoli, I don't love Rispoli on the front end, personally, as a jockey. I like him coming from behind, but I do think you're looking at a horse that could go gate to wire in a race that really doesn't have a lot of great horses. I mean, Annex has not proven anything yet. I mean, it's 3 for 3, but barely won at 6 to 5 in that last race in the Cutler Bay. So, now all of a sudden this is a grade 2 race. I mean, who's going to step up and win a grade 2? I mean, this is the weakest grade 2 race I've ever seen. So, so from that perspective, guys, I think that Excellent Timing could go gate to wire.
And then we got a Bob Baffert horse running on the turf here. So that's an anomaly to throw into this grade 2 race as well, because he doesn't do that very often and doesn't do it successfully very often either with the 5 du jour.
Yeah, and I did not love the 5. I almost tossed the 1. The only thing that helped me with the 1, and I know a lot of people hear me talk about this, was the morning line. 5-1 on the EquinEdge morning line versus 10-1 on the track morning line. Everybody knows I love, and Brady talks about this, when that thing is halfway down and you get that type of value, you know, I always look at that. It's another angle, and Scotty, you talked about this a little bit ago. It's another subjective angle that you use in the handicapping. Yes, excellent timing is 7%. Excellent timing is not a stop Scotty pick, but the morning line angle is new to the tool. And when you start looking at the GSR angle, here's an area to use the GSR. And yes, on the surface, doesn't look great. But when you look at GSR Plus, it looks a little better. This horse is a turf horse. And who do we have as a trainer? Scotty, you said this, Chad Brown. I mean, I love Chad Brown on the turf. So for me, the 1 is very, very sneaky. In any type of value I'm getting here, I'm playing the 1 somewhere. We've talked a lot on the 1. Scotty, who else do you like here? When you look at the turf here, a grade 2, you know, I thought this race was tough from a handicapping perspective.
So in a race like this, I'm always trying to find a horse that's either can get the lead and win easy, or a horse that's tactical. And so when I'm looking at that, I'm seeing a horse third off the layoff for Todd Pletcher. Luis Saez, how many races is he going to win tomorrow? 3 or 4? I mean, I would watch Luis Saez very carefully, and it would have to be a move up. The way this horse has done it, and the way this horse won at Tampa, I think that maybe Win From Within could be the horse to beat. And you're getting 8-1 on the morning line, and this horse is going to most likely get overlooked, and is 10-1 on the E morning line. That doesn't scare me. That's just fair value is what the system is giving, and I think that maybe Win From Within, who's going to be tactical, looks like this horse can rate, could be into mischief, could be tough tomorrow for Todd Pletcher. So he's got his go-to jockey in Saez, and the jockey trainer combination between the two of them is 28%. So they could be tough tomorrow in the race. I definitely am not playing Scarlet Sky. This horse is Scotty's second pick, and this horse has a good record for distance, but I just want to play a horse from that post.
Brady, what do you think?
Yeah, the Win From Within, his last 2 races, I think say he should take another step forward, but that was on Lasix. And so if we look at his races pre-Lasix versus post-Lasix, the thing that was making the difference for this horse. And so if he has to go without tomorrow, I question on, is he going to be able to repeat those last 2 efforts? And, you know, he did turn a year older. He did turn 3 years old. So maybe it was turning from 2 to 3 that helped this horse grow up and maybe fill out a little bit more. And so I don't think you want the 2 to beat you. I'm with you guys on the 4 Annex being a little bit of a lukewarm type of, I don't know why, I like this horse that much. And so last time out, this horse was an odds-on favorite and barely won. Then this was a race at Gulfstream Park. And so I think that this 4 horse still has a lot more to prove, and most likely will be the favorite tomorrow. But this is one of those favorites that I really, really like to try to beat. The Baffert horse was something that I didn't really know what to do with. I was looking at the 5 for a bit, and I'll tell you what, he's checked every box so far. And so, I mean, it's not every single day that Baffert sends a horse to the turf if he thinks he has promise. You know, usually Baffert just gets rid of the horse if he doesn't think it has promise. And so he gets Pratt up to ride. One thing that I felt was really interesting about today is no West Coast jockey won a race. No from Rispoli, none from Pratt. It was all Ortiz brothers. It was Florent. It was Johnny Velasquez. It was Brian Hernandez Jr. It was Luis Saez. And so I found it interesting that the jockey colony from the East Coast and Kentucky-based was absolutely taking it to the West Coast guys. So, you know, it's a different change, too. The stretch at Churchill Downs is a lot longer than what it is at some other tracks. And so, you know, your timing could get a little bit off, too, especially when you're on the turf. I know I saw race yesterday move a little bit too early, and it did cost the horse in the stretch. And so just something to think about when you're using Prater Rispoli, the familiarity with the track, as they only race here once a year unless the Breeders' Cup's here.
Guys, I have a note on this 5-horse du jour. I just saw it right now. And I made a note on that January 3rd race. Stunning. Breeding here is on turf, not dirt. And when you look at the tab, the GSR tab, it's a 73 on the turf in comparison to the dirt of 59. Du jour looks like the real deal, actually. And what I like about this horse is that this horse broke its maiden against a 52 group easily, but then moved up against a 62 group and just drew away. That's a really good sign. Only 4 lifetime races and been in the money in all 4 of those races. Flavian Pratt, Bob Baffert, the Sire's Temple City. This horse is a big player tomorrow.
Yeah, I like this. I'm glad we talked about du jour because I actually didn't love, but and you get Flava Flav on the turf. I mean, and Bob goes to Pratt here.
Do you see what Baffert and Flavian Pratt's jockey trainer combination is in 33 tries in the last year?
So I have not clicked on it. I'm gonna guess 47%.
I mean, it's a great guess. 42%. I mean, that's insane.
Oh,
I mean, that is really, really good. So I'm liking du jour. I mean, that's got to be a horse that we have to use for sure.
What about somebody mentioned?
I think we could play against Scarlet Sky, guys. I don't know about you guys, but it's the 13 hole, and I mean, it's this horse got an 8%. I mean, if this horse was 30% or something, it'd be one thing, but it's got to overcome this. I mean, it is Joel Rosario. I mean, but and the horse has great form. Really only had one bad race, but I mean, and you barely won a grade 3. I don't know.
So here, I have a couple notes, which I think I'm with you, Scotty, when you mentioned. I said its maiden race was weak, where it romped. I didn't love the 56 maiden special. And then when I look at the allowance race, I just said it was a questionable race and it won by 5 lengths. So for me, I say I don't trust this. I don't trust him. And then I say, okay, you won a grade 3, but only at 70. And Scotty, you just mentioned that. This is a 72. So for me, I look at Scarlet Sky. You have a tough post. Yeah, you got Joel. So, okay. But you're stepping up here, and I didn't love your recent wins. I don't really love any of the 3 wins. I don't. Like when I see this, I don't love when my notes here, and I don't love that this is a 70. I mean, all of that, I don't love. What do we think about Chess's Dream? We always go ahead.
I wanted to answer Junior's question. I think it's important. I wanted to answer Junior's question. So let me read out what Junior just said. Junior said the 5 ran 134-2 at Santa Anita, but the 4 ran 131 at Gulfstream Park on the turf. So if you're Junior, if you're looking at times, don't. Can promise you that. Time is irrelevant. So you don't know how the turf is at the moment. Each track is different. Each day is different. Each race is different on the same day, Junior. So time shouldn't even be part of the discussion. And if I may humbly correct you here.
Except for quarter horses. So that's the only, right, Scotty?
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen where if you would have taken the time of 2 horses that ran in different races on that same day, and the one that was 10 lengths faster, and then they faced each other, you would think that one would win, but it doesn't all the time. So you're talking about pace. There's so many factors when it comes to time. There's so many factors in horse racing, Junior, that the last thing you want to do is complicate it with time. And we're already now having to complicate it with Lasix, no Lasix, and all that. It's just like, if the game wasn't already tough enough, now we got to screw with that.
And Junior, the only thing I would add on to Scotty's comment here is every track is different. And remember class of a horse. Remember how the horse has performed. When you start factoring that in, to Scotty's point, you're going to start getting really wrapped up in a lot of things. If you want to talk about how a horse ran on a surface, okay, I mean, maybe, Gulfstream is a lot different turf course than other tracks might be. But I am with you, Scotty, like getting time factored in on thoroughbreds. Yeah, I'm with you.
You cannot compare. You can't. I don't care if they went 131 at Gulfstream Park and 138 at Santa Anita. I mean, it's irrelevant to me. And Gillian, your question is, the time is just the time of the race. They don't do anything to it. That basically on the form, what they do is they give you a track variant, and basically the higher the number, the deeper the track. And then so you got to now start calculating that. Man, that's why this is so simple. What we're doing, we're just taking other factors. We're taking the algorithms. We're not having to factor in all that time. Let the algorithms, let the win percentage, the Scotty picks, the Scotty long shots, let it calculate that, and then use the ticket generator as well, just to enhance it, right? So, I often say this, and I was telling Brady this today. If you run the ticket generator and you run an $80 pick 5, it's already a flat bet profit. So if you enhance it in any way, if you increase it, then you've just bettered your chances of winning. So, like, give an example. Let's just say it's using 4 horses in one leg, and you don't like one of those. If you're right about that, eliminate that horse, and if you're right about that, you're gonna exponentially win, have a chance of winning. Okay, so, but
what about Chess's Dream?
All I'm saying, Junior, is I would use other factors other than time. I wouldn't even look at time. That's all I'm saying. Like, use the class, use the win percentage. It's factoring all those things already, right? So I wouldn't use time. Use the GSR. You're going to be way more accurate if you do that. So, all right, enough on that subject.
I want to cover Chess's Dream only because it's Scotty Longshot. So, Brady, thoughts on Chess's Dream? I mean, somebody else had asked earlier on Chess's Dream. You get Jose and Maker. My guess is Jose is coming from off the pace with him. What do you think here? I mean, gonna be an absolute bomb. Mike Maker on the turf. I don't have the past running lines. I'd be curious if Maker claimed this horse at once. But what do you think on Chess's Dream?
Yeah, the first thing that I looked at with Chess's Dream here is the EE morning line went to 20-1 off of a 12-1 track morning line. And so I didn't think that was a great sign to give me some confidence in this horse. And then I clicked on his handy view here, and he runs okay. He runs average. He kind of is that horse that just breaks okay, settles near the back of the pack, and then just tries to make one run. And whenever I have a horse like that, I'm like, okay, he has to get the absolute dream set up with some pace in front of him. And so, we see, the one going to go. And other than that, the horse might be out there with you, win from within. And I also look at how the track is playing, and been watching Churchill all week. With a little bit of rain, you can get some variances in the track. The track seems to be playing very fair. I believe if you have a true lone speed horse, the horse will be able to carry on, like Saez did earlier. And then if you have a lot of speed in the race, the closers are going to be able to do their thing as well. So I don't see any biases on this Churchill track. The other point that Scotty brought up is this is a pretty weak grade 2 field. And so, anything can happen here. On deep tickets, I would give this horse a shot. The thing that really concerns me, though, is if you look at his last race, it had a very weak SOR. It was a 58 coming off of a 72, and he kind of ran the same race as the favorite. And so I never like a money-burning horse. Okay, so the time to bet this horse would probably be when he's 15 to 20-1, not when he's odds-on like he was. And so this was like maybe the 5th or 6th horse I would add to the ticket, but it wasn't the first one I was going to the window for.
And great, by the way, great point, Brady, because we give horses too much credit. This horse Chess's Dream faced a 58 SOR group last time out, 58. Okay, so I mean, this is a 72 group, so 14 points different, and lost. And now we're supposed to back this, but this goes to show you the fact that this is the Scotty Longshot just goes to show you how weak this field is. Like, we could see anything here. Yeah, I mean,
the only credit I'll give this 3, Scotty, is that if we look at the trouble, it says held up at, I'm guessing, at the start. And so maybe that this horse was supposed to win and got an awful trip. Because if you look at the race before that, it was a 72 SOR, and he ran a respectable 3rd at a decent price. And so, that's something you maybe have to go look back and say, hey, did he actually experience some trip trouble? And they want to wheel this horse back. So you get him at the same level he was at 2 races ago in the Palm Beach. and maybe he's got a shot at 20-1, 15-1.
Yeah,
and
if you're able to
like
watch video, you should watch the video of that race, because if this horse actually, in fact, had a lot of trouble, and the trouble line's not very clear here, but if that's the case, actually, you're absolutely right. I mean, this Scotty Longshot could be a fine. We've seen many times when we're looking at this and we're like, I can't bet this horse, and it's a Scotty Longshot and it beats us every time.
It's so true. The horse and that's a good point. When you start going 3 or 4, 5 horses, I mean, if you're going 5 horses deep, don't leave off the Scotty Longshot in a horse like this that's going to be 20-1. I mean, it's just a heartbreaker, because that is how your tickets will get paid, whether you're playing a double or pick 3 or pick 4 or pick 5. Like, there's a reason the system likes it, whether you can see it or not. It's and Scotty, remind me, whether it's the ROI or just the Scotty Longshot, there's a big angle there, I know, with the Scotty Longshot. Remind me what that is.
So the Scotty Longshot wins 14% of the time, but it seems to come in bunches. It's really unusual. It's in the money 33% of the time, and after takeout, it's only a negative like 5.5% ROI. It's our best algorithm by far. So, and whenever you see big payouts, like when Cindy hit the pick 5, I think it was the pick 5 over at Golden Gate Fields, the early pick 5 a few weeks ago. That was what 4 Scotty Longshots won the first 5 races, and then the top GSR by far, by 14 points, won the other race. Usually, that's where you're going to see some of the payouts. So, need these Scotty Longshots to win. And again, it's when you let your guard down and play against the Scotty Longshot, it beats you. So, I'm not going to claim, if I could figure out the Scotty Longshot, I might have a chance of doing well in the NHC this summer. But this is the hardest thing. We were talking about that on the golf course, Brady and I. Like, I can't figure out what it's doing. I wish I could, because I'm going to need the Scotty Longshot in order to do well in the NHC, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. We were talking about the other day on the course about how we're going to plan this NHC, and we've got a couple of months still to prepare. And so hopefully we'll be able to figure out this win place contest a little bit better than the live money ones that we've had some success at recently. But I think that could be the key to the contest. So we'll see. Maybe we'll both make the final table. That'd be pretty cool. Top 10 on the final day.
That would be really neat. Repeat of the Pegasus, where I don't know if everybody knows, but I won the Pegasus, and that's how you and I met, Brady. And then you got second in the Pegasus, and I felt you coming, brother. I felt you. I felt you behind you, but I had 2 entries. I was in first and third going into the last race, and then I was with Justin, and Justin and I were talking the race back and forth, and man, I didn't know what to do. But you had me pegged, because I didn't bet the ticket that ended up winning. I bet the other ticket and ended up losing. But first and second, that's unusual. But that would be great if we could do that in the NHC.
Absolutely. And any of our viewers playing in the contest tomorrow? I know there's a Derby contest tomorrow that they're running, and so let us know if you're playing. We'll track you and follow you on the leaderboard, and let us know updates as throughout the day if anybody's playing in the contest.
Actually, Cindy makes a good point too, guys. And that when the Scotty Longshot is live is when the top picks look, not just the top pick in my mind, but the top picks look low. And Gilly, 14% the Scotty Longshot wins, and then 33% is first, second, or third. So why is that important? Because guys, it's really important when you're playing this. This is where I've had success using the Scotty Longshot in the tournaments, because I'm keying those horses in the second and third spots. That's how I've done it. And you saw it, Justin. I'm taking the Scotty Longshot and keying the horse, because I know that it's going to be in the money a certain percent of the time, especially when the favorite looks vulnerable to me.
Well, this is a classic example here. We all 3 talked about Scarlet Sky being vulnerable. We also talked about Amex being vulnerable. So I think somebody had asked who's our top 5. I mean, we've talked a lot about this race. This race to me seems so wide open. You should not leave off Chess's Dream from that perspective, I think, based on what we just talked about. Scotty, Brady, either one of you want to talk about what you think the top few picks are here? I know I think this race is tough, but what do you think?
De Jure for me would be number one.
Yeah, I think that you got to look at De Jure. You don't want to leave off the 4. You got to look at the 2 Win From Within. You got to look at the Chad horse, and then I mean Joel scares me on Scarlet Sky on the 13 because if there's a guy that can get that horse down to the rail and get him a good trip even from the outside post, it is Rosario. If he had another rider, I would say I'd be a little bit more hesitant on the 13. I just don't want the 13 to beat me as a second top Scotty choice. And McGahee and Rosario are over a third of the time winning these races. And so I felt like that was one that if he can work out the trip, he should be right there as well.
I'll tell you why I disagree with you on this one. Only because we've seen the EE morning line on this horse is 8-1. It's double what the morning line is. And we've seen in situations like this where you've got a 4-1 morning line and then 8-1 on the EE morning line, those horses rarely win. And now you take the outside post. I know I'm with you, but you can't fear. And because Rosario's on, I get it, but I think if we have to put that horse as an alternate and see if we're able to fit that horse in. And then I do think we have to consider the 1 horse because that horse could go gate to wire. There really is not a lot of speed.
This is the first time Rispoli's ridden for Chad, I believe, too, on this one. Because, usually when you see Chad show up in a big graded stakes race, he's got someone named Ortiz, Castellano, Velasquez, so this is kind of a first time. I know he's been using Pratt a little bit more often now, but Rispoli gets the call. I wonder what it went into that.
I'd almost take that as a negative.
Somebody mentioned earlier. Yeah, why are the others not riding?
That's what I would say. Guys, 1 horse that we should talk about is the 12 horse Lucky Law. I have a note on this horse, and my note was that this looks like a very talented horse, and this horse has had issues the last couple of races, but only lost in that Cutler Bay. So that facing Annex, and barely lost and hit the gate and bumped, and then was brushed lightly raced. I mean, why can't this horse improve?
Yeah, good point. I mean, definitely can.
If you like,
this race is wide open.
How do you not like this horse? I mean, because Annex barely won and had a perfect trip, barely wins the race. If you like Annex, how do you not like the 12?
Good point. They tried him on the dirt, and that didn't work out in a Grade 3 Sam F. Davis, then wheeled him right back to the turf with a bad break. And so that's where trip notes are so important. Use the feature, you guys, to be able to put in notes. Justin, if you go back to the main screen, look at how many blue notepads he has. He's got 6 of them on previous notes from these horses. And so this is no different than what they taught you in high school, when you're taking notes, because we watch so many races over the course of a year that it's easy to not remember some of these things. Just write it in the notes there. It'll save it for the next time that the horse runs. And then automatically it pops back in your brain. Oh, I wanted to bet this back next time out because I felt like he had an excusable trip. And so that's a great feature.
All right, let's go to race number 10. So I have marked down just for now 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13.
I had
that's your top 5.
That's the top 6. Because I'm at the top. I'm adding the 13 in there as well because it's the Scotty's second pick. Brady likes the horse. I mean, 34% jockey trainer combination. I hate the post, and I don't think this horse is that great. But that being said, just for now, I think moving on to race number 10, maybe we just throw those 6 horses up there for now.
For sure, I agree with you. I went 2, 4, 5, 7, 11, 12, 13. And I actually got to meet Lexitonian in person a couple weeks ago. Jack Sisterson was gracious enough to invite him to his private barn there at Keeneland. And I'll tell you what, it's a state-of-the-art facility. These horses are well taken care of. Lexitonian was this horse that really gave me fits a couple of years ago because the horse never wins when he's bet, always wins the price. And so if you pull up his running line, Justin, let's take a look at this Lexitonian horse real quick because he won on Preakness Day. It would have been a couple of years ago, and it might not go back far enough to Preakness Day, but he was in the realm of about probably 30 to 40 to 1 that day. And then when he goes to Churchill Downs, he was 12 to 1 when he won there last year. And so it almost seems like they get a little bit overzealous with this horse, and they try to throw him in a grade 1. And then, something bad happens if he gets bet. But then when he's not bet, it's that horse that surprises people. And so I thought that was one of the horses that you wanted to look at. I was against 2 horses in this race. I was against the 3 Basin, and I was against the 9 Whitmore. And I know that's probably going to surprise a lot of people because Whitmore is, how old is he now? He's been around for forever. He won the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year. But this is Whitmore going 7 furlongs. And let's look at his history going 7 furlongs. He's a 6 furlong specialist. The last time he ran 7 furlongs was in the Forego, and he ran 7th behind by 10 lengths. And the time before that, when he ran 7 furlongs, that also did not go very well. He ran a mile in the Cigar Mile and finished 7th. And so this horse is a 6 furlong specialist, and they're stretching him out to 7. I thought that was the main concern for me for Whitmore. What say you guys?
Scotty, we've talked a lot about a horse being long in the tooth, and that's Whitmore for me here. I think he's such a warrior. I love this guy. I will always remember Breeders' Cup last year with Whitmore. It'll always go down the history of EquinEdge live. That was an amazing race. But I worry about Whitmore here. I'm with you. I actually like Basin here, Brady. I think lightly raced definitely, is stepping up a little bit. I get the slop race. And what happened there. I do think with Ortiz and Fletch, I do like Scotty's second pick at only 8% as well. When you look at the win percents, and he is only 8%, morning line perspective, a little bit of a better price. You're getting 6 to 1 versus 8 to 1. I always like that. I always like when I can land on a horse and I can add in the EquinEdge morning line. It's just another factor. I thought this race was really tough because I do not like Whitmore. I struggled. I did a lot here. Scotty, what do you think?
I like Flagstaff. I think that this is the up-and-coming horse. In the Commonwealth last time at Keeneland, this horse broke from the rail, broke last, and just pulled away to win for fun. 18 races, this horse has been in the money in 15 of them. I think John Sadler's got this one going good, and I think Luis Saez is going to get the win here on Flagstaff.
What about the 2 here, this Mind Control horse? If I asked you guys a question on who is the best sprinter in the country right now, who would you say? If I had to put you guys on the spot, who is the sprinter that you guys are most scared of? For me, Mischievous Alex.
Who is it?
Mischievous Alex.
Yeah.
And that's who this horse Mind Control lost to last time out. And it was respectable, and it was without Lasix. And this horse actually took a step forward, removing the Lasix. And so that was a big key for me. I know we're talking a lot about that. And so I really like the trip that Mind Control is going to sit in this race. I think he's going to sit about 4th, like he usually does. He gets Ortiz for the first time. And so, in a wide open race, you're getting 6 to 1, which I think is a fair price. And so I thought the 2 was worth a shout.
I think my only concern with this horse is the sorry, Justin. I was just going to say that that was only 4 horses in the race, and this horse lost by 5.5 lengths. It just seems like this horse doesn't really run that well when he's facing big fields. He ran 3rd in that grade 3 race, and it did seem to be a tough race, but just been very inconsistent, this horse. It's a tough one. I have mixed feelings on this horse, but has a top GSR. I can understand why you'd like this horse too. One of the top GSRs.
I looked at him a little bit. And Brady, I'm glad you brought up the Lasix thing because we saw a lot of that today. Aunt Pearl bled, didn't run. There was, one or 2 other horses. It's just another thing we have to deal with, Scotty, like you mentioned. And Flagstaff for me, I've always liked Flagstaff for the last few races and finally came through and won their odds on, I think is going to be tough with Louis. You know, the laces aspect, I think, came into play. There was somebody else I was looking at. Was it? Somebody was talking about Tap It to. What do you guys think on Tap It to Win? Has run all on Lasix, and I don't know here. I mean, what do you think?
Beat an easy field last time out. Whenever those horses face tougher competition, it's always been getting minor awards. So hard knocking horse, but this is a much tougher field. I think the horse could be in the money, but I'm not picking this horse to win.
Nathan brings up a great point here on Joel riding the 12. Apparently, there was a little bit of a mix-up between Joel's jockey agent riding for Bill Mott. They thought Charlatan was actually going to come back to this race. And when Charlatan wasn't ready, I guess Joel had already committed to Bill Mott, and then they entered Flagstaff in this race. And so I heard that Joel's jockey agent was like, oops. So I don't think I'd look too much into the jockey. But is it really a downgrade going 7 furlongs with Luis Saez? I don't think so. I mean, I think Luis is going to give this horse a perfect trip. The one I wanted to talk about was Fat Man. And since we're on the Lasix subject, when this horse is ran without Lasix, he's a totally different horse. Okay, this is another of those need Lasix horses. And so had this horse had Lasix in this race, I would be using Fat Man. I think he's a perfect lower level, non-graded stakes where he doesn't have to use them, but not here for me. Let's talk about the 7 real quick, though. She Shake Me Up. Does anybody have an opinion on this horse? Peter Miller sends over, and you guys know what he can do dirt sprinting. What are your guys' thoughts on the 7 She Shake Me Up?
Going to have to sprout wings to win this race. I mean, it's just this is a non-graded stakes horse. I mean, grade 3, got second, going 6 furlongs. I mean, it's a weak group of horses. Probably the trainers knew it would come up not that strong, and I just don't think they look that great. And then you're talking about Basin and Whitmore that don't really look that strong either. I'm with you on that, Brady, on Basin. I think Basin just looks okay, and barely won a non-graded stakes race last time out. Now, in his defense, that was off a layoff, but you're talking about a horse like Flagstaff that has 3 wins in 1 second and 5 tries at the distance, only 18 races, been in the money in 15 of them, 700,000 earned. And at 7 furlongs, guys, this horse has averaged 68,000 to start. This is this is the horse to beat. I really think that.
What about the 2 outside horses here, Endorsed and Lexitonian, like we touched on earlier? I think Endorsed sits a good trip. He's going to go early, and so this horse is respectable. I think he likes 7 furlongs, and so this is also first time without Lasix for both of these horses. Flagstaff could just class out. If I'm not singling Flagstaff, I do feel like I'm 4 or 5 deep, though.
But you're talking about like Endorsed, like when you look at that horse, I mean, this horse can't even get by an allowance race, and now this horse is supposed to win a grade 1. I mean, I can't use a horse like this. The fact that this is a Scotty Longshot again tells me how weak this field is. That's what it's telling me,
Scotty.
But yeah,
Scotty, it's a very competitive race, but maybe weak for a grade 1 that you would expect at Churchill Downs. So the only thing, on Flagstaff, we talked about this. EquinEdge has this horse at 8-1 morning line.
Yeah.
And we talked about that earlier. I mean, that's almost 3 times the track morning line.
It does scare me.
So somebody asked, what about Hog Creek Hustle? This, I love the name always, but what do you think of this guy coming in here? Vicky Foley, Lannery riding, has run a ton at Churchill Downs, has run great at 7 furlongs, run good at Churchill. What about Hog Creek?
The audacity of all these trainers with these horses putting it in the grade 1. Like, did they know this race was going to come up weak? I mean, if I'm the trainer and I'm looking at this horse's record, the last thing on my mind is putting this horse in a grade 1 race at Churchill Downs on Kentucky Derby Day. It's the last thing on my mind. Like, I'm blown away. Like, what has this horse done of late?
I'm with you, but 9%. runs well. I mean, 35,000 on average at Churchill and 60,000 on average at 7 furlongs.
It barely won a non-graded stakes race, optional claiming non-winners of 3 restricted other than maidens.
I'm with you. I don't disagree. But if the race is wide open, I mean, where else are you going to go? I mean,
that's what we're saying. None of these horses fit if Flagstaff's ready.
I mean,
Whitmore is the class. Is Whitmore getting one last win as the classy horse, but doesn't want to go 7 furlongs?
No, well, I wouldn't say that. Has earned 85,000 in 7 furlongs. I think that the times this horse has gone 7 furlongs, the fields that have been tough. Plus, you have to understand, look, in that race in the Forego over at Saratoga, that was a sloppy track, broke 8th. Obviously, that was a tough field. Throw that out. Then comes back in the Phoenix and breaks 8th. I mean, he's definitely not breaking very good, is he? I mean, I for whatever reason, I think he was a Scotty long shot that day. We all thought Whitmore had a chance in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I don't know why. And then comes back in the Hot Springs, doesn't run a bad race. They didn't go very fast up front. I remember that, and the horse, almost got there and then lost barely. And for whatever reason, he was balking loading, going into the gate, had some issues there. I mean, maybe Whitmore, maybe we're giving up too soon on this 8-year-old gelding, because this is a weak field. I mean, this is one of the weakest grade ones I have ever seen. I mean, if you take the Breeders' Cup Sprint race and compare of what Whitmore faced in that race in comparison to what's in here, this horse should be 1-9.
Well, look at the morning line on EquinEdge, 9-5 versus the track at 7-2. I mean, as we talk through this, if I'm getting 3-1 on Whitmore, I might be betting Whitmore here, and this might be why not Whitmore. I mean, I'm with you guys. I don't we are all over the place in this race, and nobody looks to be classy enough here to win. I mean, and Whitmore is in form, right? I mean, Whitmore's been doing it. Form. I mean, so, doing it with who? I'm drawing a blank, but go ahead, Scotty.
No, I was just going to say, sorry, Justin. Randy, is mentioning endorsed, which is the Scotty long shot. But again, you're talking about one of the things I learned early on in my handicapping was that when you're talking about there's non-graded stakes races in grade 3, they're about equal. Then you've got grade 2, which is a way higher level. Then you've got grade 1, which is a way higher level than that. Right. So the only time you're going to see these non-graded stakes horses or grade 3s winning is if they're lightly raced horses. Right. Now, you're not going to see experienced horses like endorsed who can't even get by an allowance race win in a grade 1 race. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know why he's Scotty's long shot, but I pass.
I mean, did run at 8.5. Ran a 1-turn mile at Belmont way back last summer in a grade 1 and ran 7th. So Scotty, to your point, I don't know if he can compete here. This is a grade 3 going 8.5 again on the mud, so can't compare. I don't know. I mean, we have not looked at every horse, but all of a sudden I'm like, why are we dissing Whitmore in this race? This might be Whitmore's race to win from an easy perspective. I mean, again, in form, top Scotty, top win percent. Whitmore is a beast and a warrior, and why not again? And if we're getting 2-1, 3-1, I mean, come on, this might be one of the best bets of the day.
This is like 2 different shows. We were just talking shit about Whitmore the entire time.
We got to make cases, the pros and the cons, man, the both sides. It's like we start out and then we talk each other in and out. So that's why the world goes around, we run the race.
Whitmore is the top GSR with an 86. Flagstaff is the top GSR with an 84. And then there's a huge drop down by 8 points to Mind Control. So, do you guys ever use this tool? The money earned, right? So the money earned in the GSR tab, if you look at the money earned, I mean, Mind Control in 11 tries has earned $770,000. at 7 furlongs on the dirt, guys, lifetime. So, maybe it's second race off a layoff. Maybe we shouldn't be. Irad Ortiz jumps aboard. I know Brady brought this up earlier, but maybe mind control needs to be in there.
Oh, I think 100%. Actually, now that I look at this, I remember looking at, and you have Irad. Ran in the Carter, a 74, first off the layoff. To your point, Scotty, second off the layoff. Ran second. I don't know who won that race, but I always like to find that out. Has a big GSR here. 6-1 on the morning line. Probably a top GSR in this race. Yeah, I mean, up there. We have not talked about this horse, so I want to make sure we do, and then maybe we try to wrap this one up. Get the prize. So the thing that caught my eye on this horse is obviously the morning line. One of the things I always look at. EquinEdge has this horse at 12-1, 20-1 on the track morning line, 8%, and gonna be probably every bit of 15 to 20-1 with Mina for Albert Stahl. Has run well at 7 furlongs in this last race at Keeneland. So to me, I say you're in form. It was a 68, so a massive jump up. Speed. So is the 8 going to go? And is the 8, what's going to happen with the 8? Get the prize.
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know who this horse is beat. I think he's beat Dean Martini.
I mean, this horse has got zero chance. This horse, I have a better chance of winning the race than Get the Prize has of winning this race. There's no way.
Scotty, that's like the bet we made the other day on the course on 18 for me to hit the green from 250.
That's true. Yeah, we shopped that last hole up, didn't we?
Yeah, handicap.
But no, guys, this is barely won in an optional claiming non-1-2 restricted race, and now it's supposed to be a win a grade 1. There's no chance. Not only that, this horse really needs to be near the pace for its best, it looks like, and that's going to be this increase in class here. It's going to be very tough for this horse. The more I'm looking at it, guys, I just think this is 2, 3, 4, 9, and the only reason I'm hesitant on the 4 is because the EE morning line at 8-1. That's throwing me off a little bit.
And 11%.
That's a tough one to figure out there, because you'd think that Flagstaff would be favored or second on the EE, but we'll see.
On that note, Justin, I'm not turned off by. I'm not even looking barely at the win percentages right now, because these are really nice horses, all of them, right? And so I think most of us are seeing that on these big race days, these big fields, you're not really, very rarely are you seeing a horse with a big number that stands out above the rest. So you have to consider that if a horse that's 7% is going to win, it's going to win in a race like this, right? Because the top win percentage is only 24%.
Yeah, I'm with you. This might be I might be sitting here with Whitmore again, like we were on Breeders' Cup Day, saying why not Whitmore? And I hope that Whitmore gives us every bit of 7-2 or 3-1. Like, why not again? I mean, it has been a beast. Brady, and remind me here, Whitmore's been running against. We've been watching all these races. I'm totally drawing a blank. Who's Whitmore been running against? Yeah, CZ Rocket.
Who's in this race? I'd be singling CZ.
Yeah.
Let's make a bet real quick, guys. Yeah. It's not, Scotty, are you in favor of the 4, Scotty?
I'm backing off a little bit on it, because I'm actually leaning towards Whitmore now.
Okay. I was going to bet you guys a drink tomorrow night. I'll take the 2, and then you guys can take whoever you want, and first round's on the loser.
I like the 2, Brady. But listen. You don't. I'm into buying drinks either way. But listen, I'm too afraid to bet you. Hey, listen, I'm too afraid to bet you at this point, anyways, because you just whooped my butt yesterday in golf. Like, he says, yeah, I'll give you a stroke. He gave me a stroke a hole. I got 18 strokes. He could have given me 36, and I still got my butt kicked.
It was a good thing I was bombing it off the tee, because the rest of the golf wasn't too pretty.
Listen, I'm doing a best ball tournament, and I'm inviting you, Brady, and Caleb Keller. That you guys are going to be my ringers.
Let's win it.
I'm just gonna sit back and drink and have cigars while you guys, just hit it near the hole all the time. So, yeah, no, Brady's got a wonderful swing, and man, he's just launching those drives, just launching them. That was a good, and we got some really good weather in San Diego yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, it's beautiful out here, and I came over from Indiana, and so it's nice to see the sun 24/7. It's kind of nice. So got that event by the ocean tomorrow. It's hard to be unhappy in Del Mar. I've gotten that vibe from this area that it's just a really relaxed place. Everybody's cool. Everybody's happy. It's like it just feels like it's a getaway as long as you're here.
We're gonna have a good time tomorrow. That's gonna be a good event. We aren't filming it live. Well, we're gonna have a camera there that's following us around, so you'll be able to see that on tape. And we're also gonna take a lot of pictures as well, so you'll probably see that on the Del Mar website. And yours truly is the MC of the event, and there's gonna be about 250 horse players over there at Monarch. Is it Monarch Ocean Club? It is absolutely stunning. I mean, we walked into that place today, Brady. Our jaw dropped right out how beautiful that place was.
It's really cool open concept too, and I think they just opened recently again. So it's nice to be able to do things that we used to do with our friends and family, and to do it on an event like the Derby Day. I mean, this is going to be so cool.
Yeah, if you do get down to Del Mar, you definitely want to visit Monarch for sure. It's right across the street from the La Berge Hotel, a little bit not too far from the racetrack. And it is an incredible place. And ask for Drew. He's the general manager, and tell him Scotty sent you.
They're going to be expecting a table right on the ocean. Oh, I love this, you all. And I just looked out my window and I'm like, it is sunshine and 80. Brady's sitting out by the pool. For everybody who wants to complain about the kids being loud, I love it, brother. Like, you're sitting out by the pool. I'm probably 100 yards from you in my room, which is good. But I love this, man. Like, it's going to be a great show tomorrow. I can't wait.
Yeah. And so this is just getting me prepared for parenthood if I ever take that step one day. How to be able to multitask with one thing in one ear, kids yelling in the other, trying to focus. And so this is all just preparation.
Yeah, I'm past that already. I've been there. You're bringing back a lot of memories, Justin. Listen, Brad brings up a good point. Del Mar is hosting Breeders' Cup this year, guys, and so that's going to be fantastic. I know that EquinEdge is going to have a big presence down there as well, and look forward to working with them and partnering with them. But I can't wait. So it's nice because they're going to be letting people back in the track again. So that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that, and man, it's just going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of fun.
Brady, you were at the track today.
I was. So they're renovating their OTB, it looks like. And so I walked all the way down to the main entrance, and then they have a OTB set up right there, so people were able to come in and place their wagers and watch the races. It was cool indoor-outdoor setup. It was very friendly. And so I stopped by there for an hour and before we went and had lunch. And there's no place like Del Mar. And I've been to a lot of the tracks, but the feeling that you get, Scotty, how would you describe the feeling you get when you step back to Del Mar a long time away?
It just was incredible because you got the ocean breeze, right? So, where the turf meets the surf. I mean, don't get me going. I mean, I could sing that. I know that song backwards. I could sing it. It's just you smell the ocean air. It's beautiful. Everybody's dressed up. Of course, there's beautiful people, and they're dressed up, and they're feeling an energy, and then they've been in the sun during the day. And, it's just nice that everyone's going to be able to get back together, too. What's cool? Churchill Downs, they're also letting people get back together. Do you guys know that? So they're letting people go into the track for the Kentucky Derby. And what's cool is they gave tickets to all of Authentic's owners. Did you guys know that? But here's the thing about it is the value of those tickets is worth more than what they won when Authentic won last year's Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the 11th, and then I think we might have one more after this. I can't remember, but let's talk the 11th. The turf, 9 furlongs. We talked this a little bit ago. Colonel Liam, domestic spending showing up. also a couple others here. Brady, what do you think here? You both. Well, Scotty, I remember Colonel Liam, but Brady, what do you think here on the turf? This is going to be a great turf race. I'm excited.
So the biggest horse picture that I have in my basement is of Colonel Liam, and it's on the wall. So nobody misses it when they come down to the basement. And I love this horse. It's hard to emotionally detach yourself from a horse when you're handicapping. So that's why when you're doing the ticket generator, me taking away Colonel Liam's name and just putting his post position to look at his running lines and his stats is a good thing. But I always come back to the same horse. The other thing about this race is two of the bigger scores I've ever had in my horse racing career are with two horses in this field, Colonel Liam and Domestic Spending. You're not going to make me choose, are you? Can I take both? What I like here is that IRAD stays aboard Colonel Liam, and how could you blame it? And so maybe if they're equally matched, the 3 and the 5, how could you get off the Pegasus turf win? I know he's very loyal to Chad Brown. He's his first call rider. But, when you're on a roll with a horse that could be potentially the turf horse of the year, you've already got the biggest one yet this year with the Pegasus. You've got to stay aboard and stay loyal to Colonel Liam. Colonel Liam's done nothing wrong. However, I will question who has this horse actually faced. The Pegasus Turf was not the most loaded race that we will see all year. You had Largent. Todd Pletcher went 1-2. You had Cross Border. You had Another Twist of Fate. Outside of that, you had horses like what was the one, the Peter Urton horse? Not Half Court Shot, but it's I always get this one messed up. It's he was in the Derby.
I know,
you know which one I'm thinking of, the speed horse.
About. Yeah,
the one that won like 45-1. You remember
I'm
that
with
one.
you. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
We got to think of it before the end of the show because that was the one that Brittany went crazy for a couple years ago, the Breeders' Cup. But so let's look at the stats here on Colonel Liam. Like I said, he's done nothing wrong. He's a 5-2 EE morning line favorite, top Scotty pick percentage at 29%. It's almost like let's wait until this horse gives us a reason to bet him. And I really like horses like Colonel Liam because they do truly make their own trips. And if you look at the trip that he got last time out in the Pegasus, it was not or 2 times ago, it was not the most beautiful trip in the world, but he was able to work it out. And the best horses, my buddy Greg Olson tweeted this out earlier in the week. I don't care if I draw post 1 or post 20 in the Derby, the best horse is going to make his own trip. And I truly believe that Colonel Liam doesn't do himself any disservice with his trips. He finds a way. You got to look at Digital Age. Digital Age has won on Derby Day the last 2 years. Race 9 is the one that Digital Age won 2 years ago, and then Digital Age actually won this race last year, which was only 6 months ago, but still, this horse loves winning at Churchill Downs. I kind of question his form coming into this race compared to a few others like Ride a Comet, like Colonel Liam. And then you got the layoff to deal with domestic spending of 6 months since December. And so, like we've said before in the show, Chad Brown with a long layoff is not a big deal. He has his exercise riders actually work the horses as well, which not many trainers are able to do both. And so he's able to simulate these types of races. Whereas some of the lower level trainers, when you're working the horse, it's tough to find a workmate. Domestic Spending's working with Digital Age. So they get to go head to head together every single day. And so when I was looking for this race, Smooth Like Straight looks like Lone Speed to me. And so that's why I was very concerned with trying to find any kind of track bias, if speed was holding or if the closers were a little bit more friendly. And so who goes with this horse early? I don't see anyone. I see Smooth Like Straight being about 4 or 5 lengths ahead halfway down the backstretch, and it's Catch Me If You Can with Rispoli out there sitting soft fractions. And so you got to think it's a grade 1. So these closers should be able to sit a little bit more tactical and should be able to outkick Smooth Like Straight in the end, I believe. But I'm not leaving Smooth Like Straight off of my vertical wagers. And so if you're going to pick a couple of ideas here, I'm definitely going Colonel Liam on top and the 5 and the 7 and the 9 underneath. Let me touch on Ride a Comet real quick. I was at Keeneland for the Raging Bull race, and Raging Bull absolutely ran them off their socks. Ride a Comet was coming. And so if you look at this horse, he improved off of coming back from Santa Anita. Maybe he just didn't prefer that turf course. But if Ride a Comet can take a little bit more of a step forward, I think he can get a piece underneath for second or third.
What do you think, Scotty?
You know, this is on paper. I don't like Digital Age because you're not going to be there's 3 or 4 really top horses here, and Digital Age is a very nice horse, but obviously has physical issues, and you're going to have to be your best is probably not going to be good enough to win. So horizontally speaking, I wouldn't be using Digital Age, although I respect the horse. Smooth Like Straight, I think lightly raced, been in the money in 10 of 13 tries, is doing very well. I think might have a pace advantage, no doubt about it. At the end of the day, I just feel like Irad's going to find a way to get Colonel Liam home. This is just a horse that doesn't like to lose, has a ton of heart, a ton of talent, and I think Colonel Liam's going to find a way to get it done. And I'm absolutely singling Colonel Liam.
I love it. I love that confidence. We both keyed Colonel Liam in the Pegasus contest, didn't we? Yes. I know I did. I know you did too. And so this horse, if he's anywhere close to 3-1 or 5-2, I'm going to be playing him all across the board in every single and horizontal wagers, key on vertical wagers. I mean, what's not to love? And I love it how these horses kind of get disrespected by the morning line. Sometimes I felt like he should have been a little bit more of a favorite, but we'll see what the betting public does.
You know, I remember Colonel Liam because I remember sitting there at Pegasus and looking at these 2 Saratoga races and looking at a 72 and a 78. And then, you had the Tropical Derby as well. But sitting here looking at Colonel Liam and saying, this horse is going to romp in the Pegasus. Didn't romp, obviously, but was the course. And, ended up coming back at 76. This is an 82. So, Scotty, I know that the race algorithm is something new that we've added, and I love this piece of the tool. I really do. And when I look at this, I say, what's happening here? And a lot of people have been talking about this the last couple of days with me, whether I'm getting texts or Twitter or something. I've had somebody ask and say, I think it was actually Chris who we talked about earlier with his Lone Star pick saying, what do you do if everybody is underneath the race SOR? And I don't know if I've seen that. And I said to him, I said, well, that means somebody has to step up. And that happened today in the Oaks. I was completely wrong. I was against these New York horses that look like they had to step up with the SOR and beat the Fairgrounds horses. When you look at this with Colonel Liam and you say, okay, you're running in the mid-70s and winning, you have a lot of heart. And then you look at somebody like Domestic Spending, who's won an 82, who's won a 78, who missed an 80. What are your thoughts there with the 3? Does that concern you all? Or do you just think that the algorithms are the algorithms and the 3 is still maybe the classiest horse?
Well, no, I think that Domestic Spending is coming off of a big layoff, and this horse, likes to time his races, and I think Domestic Spending is a very nice horse, and he gets Flavian Pratt aboard. So, but I think, and he's nice, and maybe people should just go too deep in here, just using the 3 and 5. But I just have a lot of respect for Colonel Liam. But as far as the current race SOR, you don't see this very often. Like, Colonel Liam is a top-notch horse, but he faced a 72 last time out and got the win. But he 3 races back, he won in a 76, 2 races back at 76. The way I'm looking at Colonel Liam is in a way of this horse is lightly raced, and this horse is going to be a champion. And so I'm just thinking that it doesn't matter who you put in front of him, he's going to win. That's how I feel about this horse. But the same race SOR has been a great tool for me. I love it, and I compare it. Now, don't forget, it's got a ±2 ratio. So maybe this field is an 80, maybe it's an 84, but it's ±2. I think this is a strong field, though. I really do. And I think that you have horses that are up and coming. Smooth Like Straight. There is nothing wrong with this horse. I mean, this horse is going to be right there at the wire. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
I feel like this might be one of the. Go ahead, Brady. Go ahead.
I said Nathan brings up a good point that Pletcher is actually placing Colonel Liam exactly how Chad Brown did with Bricks and Mortar. Now, Liam is not in the Bricks and Mortar category by any means yet, but he's a Pegasus. Send him to Fairgrounds, got a paid workout, and now sending him to Derby Day, and with the end goal probably being the Breeders' Cup. Colonel Liam's one of those horses where when he wins, it's never like that impressive, but he gets the job done. And so I want a horse that knows where the wire is over one that runs one speed like a merry-go-round that doesn't want to pass horses. Colonel Liam wants to pass horses, and in his mind, he's like, I want to win this race. And that's an intangible. That's something you can't teach.
Agreed. He's just that type of horse. I mean, he's going to try, and you know that Irad's got confidence on him. So, I mean, to me, I just love this horse. I mean, Justin, you remember I was all over this horse in Pegasus.
You were. I remember. I mean, I love Colonel Liam. I wonder here. I love this race. That's what I was going to say a minute ago. Like, I love turf racing over dirt racing. This is my favorite race of the card. And I think this is going to be a great race. And whether it's Ride a Comet that all of a sudden shows up after that great race at Keeneland, or whether it's Colonel Liam and Domestic Spending coming off the layoff. Before we move on, I'd be curious here about the Lasix perspective. We saw Aunt Pearl today not show up, and she ended up bleeding with no Lasix. Any thoughts here? You know, when we look at the one, she's ran without Lasix, and she's run well. Huge step up. You know, Count Again has been all on Lasix, except for the last couple of races, and she ran in a 76 at the Kilroy at Santa Anita. But any thoughts on Lasix here for turf horses?
Yeah, Colonel Liam was able to win the Pegasus without Lasix on his first try. And so that, to me, gives me even more confidence that the Lasix is not an issue for Colonel Liam. For some other horses, it may be. You know, I'm looking at the field, and the two Chad Brown runners have only ever run with Lasix. So that's an uncertainty. You don't usually see a horse improve when they come off the Lasix. That's a rarity. And so Ride a Comet ran a big one against Raging Bull without Lasix, and then Smooth Like Straight narrowly got beat by Hit the Road without Lasix. So if we're going to go on the Lasix train here, I'm using the 7 and the 9 underneath. And Scotty and I had a really good conversation about ticket construction when you're trying to find those horses underneath. Find the horses that maybe don't have a chance to win to key in those second and third spots, because so often you get your top choice finishes first or he just gets beat. And so oftentimes that horse that would finish first or just gets beat doesn't finish third or fourth. He either runs his race or he doesn't. And so Ride a Comet for me is not a win contender, but if you're going to get, you know, it's a morning line 5-1, I think the horse is going to float up. With two Chad Browns, this horse will probably be 8-10-1. I think Ride a Comet's my price to try to get in the try in first or in second or third.
Scotty, anything on the Lasix angle?
Don't even get me going on it. Like, you know, there, you know, so many horses, you know, they bleed. You know, Lasix is a diuretic, and you know, and you know, the term like piss like a racehorse and all that, you know, I mean, it's all, you know, Lasix, right? But horses bleed. And I think you're doing more of a disservice, one, to the handicappers trying to figure this mess out. And then two, to the horses, like what happened today, you know, so I hate that they've done this, to be honest with you. But, you know, I've not done all the studies, to be fair, but I really don't know what the issue with Lasix is. Where I have had a problem is when you talk about some of the, you know, injections they do in the horse's legs. That's a different story, because then the horses can't feel their pain, and then that's when they break down. But I just don't understand what the issue is with the Lasix, but that's another story. But Brady's on top of that. He follows that closely, and he has a good feel for it. I'm not going to lie. I don't look at that very often, because if I did, that's just another angle that's just going to confuse the crap out of me. So,
it drives me crazy. Trust me.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to do it. I think we've got about a 2-year period if they stick with this rule to get through it, because then every horse will have at least ran on Lasix, and then we'll have a better idea going forward. I don't know. That's another topic we could talk about for 10 hours. What do you say we get to the Derby?
Yeah, well, I say we're going to do it. Before we leave for the Derby, what did we settle in on in this race? As far like, is the 3 Colonel Liam a single? Like, what are you going to do, Brady?
I haven't decided if I'm playing the contest yet tomorrow, but if I do, I will be ready to go all in on Colonel Liam tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I am too. And that's respecting smooth like straight for me as well as domestic spending. Those two. I don't think you need to go past 3 horses. I think Cindy had asked real quickly as well is about Ivar, the Brazilian bred. And I mean, this horse has got some really good SORs. I mean, this horse has been in some strong races, is coming off of a layoff. I mean, could this horse be this good?
This is the same trainer that I hit. Both you guys know, and some viewers may know, this 7 horse that won on what was that, Tuesday or Wednesday, that was 30-some to 1, that hit over at 15 to 1. This Paulo Lobo guy is the same guy, and Talamo was riding that Brazilian horse that ended up winning that allowance race at, it was like 35 to 1, that was coming out of Uruguay. Look at these back class. I don't know where these races are, but a 64 and 74 grade 1s that are coming out of probably South America comes and runs at Churchill, wins at 14 to 1 and a 70, wins an 82 at Keeneland going 8 furlongs. I guess the question here is, does he want to go 9 furlongs?
Well, he's, I mean, 68's not terrible. And certainly this horse is bred to go longer. I don't think the distance is an issue for this horse. I mean, I can't say that this horse can't run well, but you're supposed to beat the likes of Domestic Spending and Colonel Liam. But Domestic Spending's coming off of a layoff as well. It's the other reason why I like Colonel Liam. I mean, I know I respect Domestic Spending. This Ivar looks like a very nice horse. At the end of the day, I'm probably more worried about smooth like straight on the lead, but I don't know how much of a winner this is. Looks like a very talented horse, guys, but it just seems like this horse is either barely winning or actually losing when he's right there. What I don't like about smooth like straight, if you look at the last race in the Kilroy, I mean, this horse had the lead. Like, very nice horse, but Colonel Liam's going to find a way to get this race done with Dirat Ortiz. So I personally think that Colonel Liam is a single. Brady, you seem to think the same thing. Is there anybody you're afraid of, Justin?
When I look here, the 4 horse I do think is interesting from being a little bit afraid of, and I look, I mean, this horse has competed. This horse will get overlooked again. It's the same thing is going to happen. The thing I like about the 4 horse is that EquinEdge has it at 6 to 1. It's 10%. So for me, it's coming off a layoff. The same angle I used though earlier in the week, this trainer has his horses ready off the layoff. And when I look at the works here, this horse is working. He's going to have this horse fit, very lightly raced, coming out of Brazil. It's the same angle I used earlier in the week. So that would be my pure long shot. Outside of that, I think Colonel Liam is the horse to beat here.
If Colonel Liam is the horse that we think he is, then all the other stuff is all bullshit, right? Meaning with Ivar, with Domestic Spending, it doesn't matter. I mean, Irad gets off of Domestic Spending to get on Colonel Liam, right? So we're thinking Colonel Liam could be a champion. So horses coming off a long layoff shouldn't be able to beat Colonel Liam. So I'm personally don't want to overthink this race. Although I respect Ivar and Domestic Spending and smooth like straight, but to me, this is not that strong of a field. I think Colonel Liam gets it done here.
And if he does, this will be the best price you're probably going to get him at for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
going forward, cool race, cool horses, and should be a doozy tomorrow. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I'm all in on Liam.
Yeah, me too. I think I respect those horses. Here's the thing: Ivar's great, Domestic Spending's great, smooth like straight is great, but Colonel Liam, from what we've seen, guys, seems like he could be any kind of horse. He's a champion, and look at the way he likes to win. I mean, this horse just likes to win, and he's figured things out. And this horse could go undefeated the rest of the year for sure. I mean, this horse could win here and then win the today, and win a couple more races, and then win the Breeders' Cup. I'm not going to be surprised. So I'm sticking with this with Colonel Liam. I think it's up to you guys, but I think we should make this horse because we've got some tough races here coming up. I think the 3 has to be a single for us. I don't know that we're going to have a better single.
I would agree.
That's
Justin?
the single. I'm with
All
you.
right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yep. All
Okay.
right. Derby time. Derby, this is the last race.
Is the Derby tomorrow? What?
Right?
I have.
Oh, maybe.
Did you say it was the last race? Because what do you mean
It's
the
the
last
12th.
race?
No, I
Last
mean
race of the
for
pick
us,
six
we're
sequence.
gonna close out tonight with this race in the for our EquinEdge kind of for viewers and everything. We're not planning to cover the last 2 races. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. We just covered the pick 6, and then we covered the pick 5. But there's also a late pick 5 as well. But all right,
There's 2 races. There's 2 races. 2 races after this. Yes.
Right.
I think they do that for traffic control, so not everybody leaves at once. Because if you had, under normal years, you could have upwards of almost 200,000 people at the Kentucky Derby, and so that's why they've usually had 2 races afterwards, so that some people leave and some people stay to, bet back their winnings or try to get out of the hole.
Right.
All right, where do you start with this race? This is 20 horse field. Newgate, they used it last year for the first time, but it wasn't a 20 horse field. So this is the first time in the Newgate that we're actually going to get 20 horses in it. How much emphasis do you guys put on the post draw? Do you guys have your mind made up before you see the post, or does post matter?
Well, I'm turned off. I know you're not, but I'm turned off by the rail for sure. I always am. And I don't like really wide posts personally as well, especially if you have no speed. Last horse to win from a wide post was Authentic one from the 18 post, I think, though, right? Was Big Brown, I was going to say, from the 20, but
he did. Authentic had so much speed that it didn't matter.
Yeah, I just don't like the one hole with 20 horses, but and I don't know, I'll just start it off on the Florida Derby. I mean, we were there, and Known Agenda won that race, and of course, but I just don't think that the Florida Derby was a strong race. I don't think Greatest Honor was the best favorite, right? And then of course if you talk about the one horse Known Agenda, Soup and Sandwich come out of that same race and got second. So if you like, well, Known Agenda won pretty easily, but I think if you like Known Agenda, you've got to like Soup and Sandwich a bit as well. I think I heard Dave Weaver likes Soup and Sandwich. I have to ask him. But he just likes to eat, so that's probably why.
I think that Soup and Sandwich, he's like the My Boy Jack horse of this year, where it's a catchy name. I think people are going to bet him, but at least this horse is respectable. The horse has done nothing wrong. I remember when this horse broke his maiden, it was Pegasus weekend, and we got to see it in person, and it was very impressive. And Irad was actually on that horse that day, and then Johnny V got the mount for the Florida Derby. And Soup and Sandwich, the race was a lot closer than people think. I mean, Known Agenda did not blow this horse out of the water. I mean, he won convincingly, but Soup and Sandwich was there.
The 16 horse has been scratched. I don't know if you guys knew that. King Fury.
Yeah. The UFC fighter Tyson Fury, he was actually going to come help walk the horse out, and so to give him some good mojo. But he did a FaceTime with Brian Hernandez, the rider, and said, if you're using my name as, I think he calls himself the Gypsy King, and said, you better give this horse the best you possibly can. Well, now the horse has no chance, unfortunately.
What do you think? So Scotty, you're not on the one hole. Chris Walsh brought up, and Gabby Gaudet did a good little video on this. The one hole is technically now running in the same position where the 3 hole historically ran. So with the new gate at Churchill in a 20 horse field, there's about a 5-minute video. It was on Twitter. It's really well done that they put together. It actually is not as bad as it used to be. With that said, it's still on the rail. And Scotty, you talked about that. But Scotty, I would be curious on your perspective here, whether it's Essential Quality, Rock Your World. Those are two horses I've heard a lot about, Medina Spirit, Baffert, Hot Rod Charlie being the California horse. What are you thinking here?
Well, I'm Hot Rod Charlie is going to be my pick. Although I'm a little worried about the Louisiana Derby because there's only been Grindstone in 1996 was the last horse to win after winning the Louisiana Derby. Now, 4 horses came out of that race, the 6, 7, 9, and 10. So Hot Rod Charlie, the 6 horse Obesos, who was the 10? The 10 Midnight Bourbon would come out of that race, and then the Mandaloon comes out of that race for Brad Cox. So, but I think I'm going to go with Hot Rod Charlie. My heart is kind of hoping Rock Your World wins because I'd like to see John Sadler win and Ronish Racing because Ronish Racing, I mean, they just seem like really great people. They put a lot of money into the game, and Rock Your World looks pretty good. Won the Santa Anita Derby, the Grade 1, and did you guys hear that Mattress Mac, and he put $500,000 to win on Essential Quality. Did you guys hear that?
He's putting $4 million tomorrow is the word on the street.
Does he know it's a pari-mutuel pool? Does he know this is not betting the World Series? It's not fixed. He's 6-5 right now. And if Mac unloads on this horse, can you imagine? Because Essential Quality should be like probably 5-2. That's probably the fair price on Essential Quality, let's be honest. If Justify was 5-2, and so is American Pharoah, Essential Quality should probably be there in a 20-horse field. But if Mac puts this money down, he's going to be like almost odds on, right?
I mean, yeah, he's going to be the favorite for sure, especially if he puts $3.5 million or $4 million. I mean, he's already put $500,000. I mean, so he wired $4 million. Chris says to Churchill Downs. I mean, like you said, Brady.
What a power move.
I mean, does he understand that the horse is going to put the horse at 1-5? I mean, then what? Like, it's the worst bet in the history of betting. Like, listen, I'd like to book his bet. Honestly, I'm just too afraid.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's good for the rest of us if we're against Essential Quality because that's a great point. That's a great point. Prices. I think I'm going to get 8 to 10 to 1 on Agenda now off a 6 to 1 morning line. 1 because of the post draw, 2 because of Mattress Mac's generosity to the horse player. He's, I got a new nickname for Mattress Mac. He's the takeout equalizer.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Mac. Listen, I am not on Essential Quality. That was not an impressive win in the Bluegrass, and I have a feeling, maybe this horse is tired. I don't know. I mean, maybe this horse is tired, but this is I don't know that this horse is going to relax enough.
Highly Motivated gave him everything he could handle last time out too, and he had to really grind for that. And I think of Tiz the Law last year when he won the Traverse and had that huge effort and then came back and just didn't have that same kick in the Derby. I wonder if Essential Quality, it's a long campaign to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and then to keep on training and go on and win the Kentucky Derby. That doesn't happen very often. No. I mean, that is a very long campaign without a whole lot of rest. And so I'm wondering if this horse is spent.
And I have a note on Highly Motivated that says that I felt like this horse was more of a late running sprinter, or a miler. And so for that horse to win at 9 furlongs in the Bluegrass, that made me feel even stronger that Bluegrass was not a strong race. So I'm eliminating Essential Quality. I'm eliminating Highly Motivated. So and then I'm eliminating anybody in the Louisiana Derby except for Hot Rod Charlie, because if you didn't win the Louisiana Derby, then you weren't winning the Kentucky Derby. So I'm already going against the grain with choosing Hot Rod Charlie, but I think Flavian Pratt's gonna get the win here in the Derby.
Do you think Flavian has a chip on his shoulder considering he's won a Derby without crossing the wire first, and he wants to kind of erase that from his resume? Could be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Little extra motivation, He got the same Derby check, but hasn't crossed the wire first yet.
I'll tell you what, I really like what I think Doug O'Neill is showing a lot of confidence in Hot Rod Charlie by winning the Louisiana Derby and training him up to the Kentucky Derby, right? So I mean, he could have easily, put him in another race, but he didn't. And I like that a lot. And Doug knows what he's doing. I mean, he's won a couple of derbies. So I like that a lot. I was there for I'll Have Another's Derby win, and I mean, he just did a masterful job of training. So, Doug knows what he's doing and how to get a winner here. So I think Hot Rod Charlie, I looked at the GSR Plus numbers. I mean, these are nice. I mean, this horse wants to go long. So, I mean, a 78 going 10 furlongs on the GSR. That's the third highest.
Yeah,
I don't know
where are you at, Brady?
Yeah, this horse, he can't be disrespected. Medina Spirit did beat him at Santa Anita a couple times ago. And I think Medina Spirit's kind of the elephant in the room. And we talked about it briefly earlier. The same thing happened to Bob last year. He had Nadal and he had Charlatan, which would have been the top 2 or 3 favorites in the Kentucky Derby. Lost both of them to injury, I believe. And this year, we had the same thing happen. Life is Good in Concert Tour. Life is Good got injured, and then I don't know that he thought Concert Tour was good or as ready for the Kentucky Derby. So then you get the third best Baffert, most people would think. He can't be ignored. How does this pace scenario set up? Medina Spirit drew a perfect post, is going to probably try to go to the lead. What do Bob Baffert's horses do best? You never really see Bob come from off the pace all that often. He trains his horses like they're quarter horses and to sustain. And so I think Rock Your World got the jump on him last time. And if you watch the replay, Johnny actually rated Medina Spirit. I thought they were trying to teach this horse something last time out in the Santa Anita Derby. Go watch that replay and let us know in the chat what you think. But Johnny had a full reins on him and pulling back. So I thought they were trying to teach that horse, because at that point, Concert Tour was still in the Derby, and that was the horse that was going to go on the lead. And Bob was no way going to send both horses to the lead in the Kentucky Derby. So I think the plan was to have Medina Spirit sit off of him. Now that's changed. I think Medina Spirit's going to go try to grab the lead at all cost, which is going to force Rock Your World to be outside of him and either try to keep up or have Rock Your World sit in second or third. Could make it very interesting from a pace perspective, Medina Spirit and Johnny V.
Midnight Bourbon's 100% going to the lead. 100%. Asmussen is sending Midnight Bourbon the 10. Like, the one way to go, Steve's going to try to win the Derby on the front end with Midnight Bourbon. I would be surprised if anybody else gets the lead here. But not to say Midnight Bourbon is the fastest horse and going to get the lead, but I fully expect the 10 tries to get to the front and go. We lost Brady, Scotty, so it's you and I for the moment. Maybe he's back. Yeah,
let me make a point.
You're back.
Justin.
I'm back.
Oh, you back? Okay, good. Let me make a point real quick though on Hot Rod Charlie. Okay, so what I like about this horse is he's really coming into the race good. I think that Doug O'Neill's doing an amazing job. If you look at the first 3 races, the maiden races, this horse just was struggling. They were trying turf. They sprinted the horse, and they really, if you look at that, I mean, this horse is an 83 on dirt, and Doug is putting this horse on the turf in those 2 races. You're right. And then this horse didn't want to sprint either. So got bet in all 3 of those races, finally gets 8 furlongs on the dirt and wins. All of a sudden, then look at wins barely in a maiden race, and then all of a sudden things click. And this horse almost wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in the next race, barely losing by 3/4 of a length. Then he stumbled in the Robert Lewis, right, and barely lost the race. And then finally had a decent trip and then just romped in the Louisiana Derby. I think this horse is coming up to a really good race, has a great GSR, bred to go long, training up perfectly. I think Hot Rod Charlie could be tough.
The horse has a lot of heart too, and he's always right there. I mean, he hasn't missed the board since before his race at Santa Anita back in October of last year. And so he's going to run his race. And I think that's so important in the Kentucky Derby is this horse is not sporadic. He shows up. You know what you're going to get from him. It just depends on if that's going to be good enough tomorrow.
So we've talked Hot Rod Charlie a lot. We've talked a little bit about Essential Quality, obviously. The system, you look at these win percents. What's the deal with Sainthood and Helium? 13% and 8%, absolute just bombers on the board. What do we think here? I mean,
I got a note on Sainthood.
Go ahead.
Do you have a note on there too? Because he came out of that Turfway race that Leica King won, the Wesley Ward horse. I don't think that race was strong at all. The one excuse I will get, look at what the trouble says, problematic trip. I mean, if that doesn't tell you what it is, I don't know what will. Watch the replay of this horse in the last quarter of a mile. This horse was weaving everywhere. He was getting stopped. He was getting steadied. And so this is a horse where he probably should have won that race based on how he closed with all the trip trouble that he had. And so I think that's why they're giving him an excuse, because of where he was positioned and what he probably should have done with a clean trip. Now, try working out a trip in a 20-horse field. That's a different story than, the Turfway or the Jeff Ruby Stakes. And so I don't like this horse as a win contender. Maybe I could see it underneath if we have a lot of pace up front, but we're going to have quite a bit of pace, I think, for this horse to factor in. This horse has never faced horses like Essential Quality, like Hot Rod Charlie, like Rock Your World, like Known Agenda. And so there's a reason why I think they sent him over to Turfway. Maybe one, because Todd wants to get his horses away from each other so that they're not all, banging heads. But number two, Turfway was probably the softest spot on the circuit to send a horse to get points. So I'm not too excited about this one. It is Windstar. It's Lannery at Churchill. This is Todd Pletcher's fourth horse in this Derby. I mean, the dude's got, a lot of the field. And if I had to pick one Pletcher, I'm not picking this one.
Scotty, anything on Sainthood?
I'm not a fan. I just don't see it. I mean, there's not enough of this horse. It hasn't done enough. Like this is a big long shot tomorrow. And this horse is finishing against much weaker than what's in here. As far as the highly motivated guys, I have mixed feelings with this horse, Javier Castellano for Chad Brown. And, I don't know that this horse really wants to go that long, but it's the Scotty long shot. I think this horse, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Authentic, I was going to say, was the Scotty long shot last year. And so I always respect the Scotty long shot. I don't have a problem with this horse because it has tactical speed. And, maybe this horse can get it done. Maybe it can.
To me, there was two flights in this Derby. There were the contenders and then the pretenders. And so that's kind of the first thing that I did when I opened up EquinEdge once we got the race up. And I just started eliminating horses that I felt like had no shot. And so I feel like we've got Group 1 and Group 2 here. And, a horse like Sainthood, a horse like Helium, they're kind of the Group 2 ones. Highly motivated, I still put him in the Group 1 because I think he's a good horse. Any horse that's going to go toe-to-toe with Essential Quality. And Chad's still not won a Derby yet. And I love what Chad Brown said the other day about if he could just sprinkle some grass seeds on the dirt course, maybe he could win. But hey, Chad will get his Derby. I just don't think it's this one. I don't think it's this one for this horse. I really don't. Justin, you have a future on Superstock and Midnight Bourbon. Is that correct?
Yeah, on both of them.
Okay.
I'm a lot higher on Midnight Bourbon. Scotty, you talked about the Louisiana Derby, and that race has not historically produced Derby winners, and it's been a long time. I bet both those horses to start, and there was a third horse in the first future pool for Steve Asmussen, and I don't think Steve has won a Derby. And I just said, why not Steve this year? He's no joke. Why not? You get Mike Smith on the 10 Midnight Bourbon, and then Ricardo's riding the 18 in Superstock. I personally don't necessarily see Superstock really at all. I really don't. I mean, I get it when the Arkansas Derby, horses stopped in front. It did come back at 78, did run 9 furlongs. I do worry about the GSR drop. I mean, you drop from an 87 to a 68. For me, I hope one of them wins, obviously. I mean, I think Superstock's 103 to 1 in my future bet, and then Midnight Bourbon I think is 59 to 1. I would put my money, if I had to bet now, more on Midnight Bourbon. I do love the speed. You get Mike Smith. I mean, it's Mike. I mean, it's not like you're picking up anybody. I like a lot of your guys' comments on Hot Rod Charlie. I really do. I'm against Essential Quality. I really am. I think that the last race took a lot out of him. He's, Brady, to your point, he's been in training. He's been going. Medina Spirit, I think it's Bob. I loved Medina Spirit running against Life is Good, and I worry, though, that could be just up against it here. I am a little bit with you, Brady, on the one with Irad. I know that you like the one, Known Agenda. I'm not afraid of the post here. If Irad wasn't on the horse, I might worry a little bit more. I love that the Derby gate has changed. I love that you get Irad. I mean, I love that I'm against some of the favorites here. And if I'm against the favorites, why not Irad Ortiz on a horse that's going to save ground? Known Agenda is going to save massive ground in this race. And Irad definitely can work out a trip. Does he win? I don't know. I 100% think Known Agenda is hitting the board, and for me would be the horse that I wheel through bets if I'm playing a vertical. Brady, who is your top pick? Is it Known Agenda?
I'm there. I'm Known Agenda. This is the one I really like, and I like this horse before the post draw. The post draw was unfortunate. I had to take that in consideration. But one thing that the three of us talk about a lot is visualizing the race. How do we see this one pan out? When I looked at the post draw, I looked at the 5 horses just outside of Known Agenda, and I thought that they were the 5 weaker horses in the race altogether, and only one of them is actually going to show any kind of speed. And so Known Agenda particularly doesn't break very fast. They've added blinkers maybe to try to help that, but he is not a quick breaker. And so I tried to see this race unfold in my mind, and 3 of the 4 horses to his outside don't show any speed at all. And so I'm thinking Irad just might inherit a decent pocket, sitting about 8th, getting the shortest trip around the track, maybe with 2 horses in front of him. He's proven that this horse can take dirt in his face, and it doesn't bother him. That's what he did in the Florida Derby. He's, obviously got 5 weaker horses to his outside, which is to his benefit. The better horses are way outside, which is to their detriment. He keeps improving. Okay. I remember I was at Santa Anita about 4 weeks ago, and we were talking to Johnny V, and, he was the one that told Todd Pletcher, you need blinkers on this horse. And ever since he did that, this horse has came back a whole new horse, with focus. And so he's trending in the right direction. And if he takes one more step forward, he is every bit as good to win this race. I think the pace is actually going to be a little bit quicker than what people are saying. I know with the deflection of Caddo River, everybody's saying, Rock Your World or Soup and Sandwich or Medina Spirit, it's going to be a slower pace. I don't believe that. The pace is never that slow in the Derby. And so I don't think it's going to be such a bad trip being down there on the rail for him. He's the best of the 4 Pletchers, got the worst draw for the Pletchers. You get Irad, I think the price is going to be fair. How often are you going to get Irad Ortiz at about 8 to 10 to 1? I think in the futures market, someone said earlier, he's currently 11 to 1. And so for me, if there's a rider that can make a trip, it's Irad Ortiz Jr. He needs a Derby. Todd Pletcher, maybe with Brad Cox, are the 2 hottest trainers in the country right now. I mean, Todd just won the Oaks today. Todd won the Pegasus World Cup turf. He's got a great crop of both fillies and colts on turf and dirt. And so this dude's absolutely loaded in his barn, and I think this is his best horse. And so for me, from a value play, I see Known Agenda at about 8 to 10 to 1 to try to upset. I'm really high on this horse for a number of reasons I just stated.
So, Mike, the only thing I would say is you are right. So look at Known Agenda, though, running horses ran without Lasix in 4 or 5 starts. And so, to Brady's point, they did add Lasix and they did add blinkers. But so here's the step forward, though, in the Florida Derby. Whether you like the race or not and you want to trust the SORs or not, it was a 76 and won with blinkers without Lasix. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it because there's no Lasix. You add blinkers. You have 2 different angles there. I'm not afraid of the rail. I'm not. I am not, because Irad will save ground on this. Irad's going to save ground on Known Agenda. To Brady, to your point, the horses on the outside, I think Irad's going to find the trip here. Maybe doesn't. Maybe it's too tough. But for the value of a horse and to win the Derby when I'm against Essential Quality and I want to talk Rock Your World a little bit, to me, Known Agenda is going to be massive value. Scotty, what do you think about Rock Your World?
Well, one more thing on Known Agenda real quick. I see him getting the War of Will trip from 2019. And so War of Will drew the rail, had every chance to beat Maximum Security until they clipped heels. And so if you're watching replays, watch that War of Will Derby replay before he clipped heels. That's the trip I see Known Agenda getting more.
Looking at Lucky, I can't remember, 3 or 4 years ago, was on the rail and ran 3rd, if I remember correctly. So
after getting crushed out of the gate too. Great 3rd.
Yeah. I mean, and we have a new gate here with 20 horses. So, Scotty, what do you think about Rock Your World, though?
I mean, I've never seen a better bred horse. I mean, I'm looking at the GSR Plus right now. 91 on the dirt tab, 78 on the turf tab, synthetic 72, and wet 80. I mean, the horse is just like, the numbers are in the 80s and 90s. I mean, this horse is insane. 91 on the dirt tab. I mean, I don't know how strong the Santa Anita Derby is, guys, but I mean, as far as breeding goes, this horse is like the real deal. I mean, this horse has done nothing wrong. Tactical. I mean, this 25% in this particular race, when the next closest Essential Quality at 15 is a pretty big number. The EE Morning Line 7-2. I mean, we know Essential Quality is going to be the favorite. The numbers are showing that. And then after that, if you just look based on the EE Morning Line, it's a 2-horse race between Rock Your World and Essential Quality.
Yeah, I like Rock Your World some here as well. For me, I'm definitely Known Agenda and Rock Your World are going to be in my first couple spots, and then I like Hot Rod Charlie too. So when we talk about superfecta, trifectas, the 1, 9, and 15 for me are some of my key horses, having to find maybe a price, obviously, when we put those larger verticals together. Brady, anything on?
What's interesting.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Excuse me, sorry, Justin, but we should make one note that Rosario gets off of Hot Rod Charlie after winning the Louisiana Derby to get on Rock Your World, the 15. Like, that's no small deal. Like, you're not getting off the Kentucky Derby winner. Like, I mean, the more I'm looking at that, like, I'm probably going to end up taking Hot Rod Charlie because I just respect this horse's heart. Just seems to. I think he's coming into a good race, but Rock Your World could be that good. And Umberto Rispoli got taken off of the 15, you remember, off of Rock Your World, and Rosario is on. So, we'll see if that ends up paying off for John Sadler. But Rock Your World's done nothing wrong so far. A lot of times, I think what happens is this horse wasn't really respected in the Santa Anita Derby. So a lot of people think maybe it's a fluke, and so they're not giving this horse the respect maybe he deserves. But I've never seen a GSR Plus on a horse look so good. I mean, this horse is bred really well.
Show them there's a 92 GSR in the Santa Anita Derby. Look at that jump. So I want the viewers to see this. From his last race on the turf before the Santa Anita Derby, he was a 76. Then he jumps up to a 92. That's a drastic jump. We don't see that very often, but when we do, you better pay attention to it because it matters. And so it's not surprising from a GSR perspective that he did what he did. And so, like Scotty said, he's never seen a better bred horse than this, especially for a race like this for 10 furlongs. And so those are little things that you have to really, get into the system and use it and really understand why a jump into GSR means what it means. We're going from turf to dirt. Huge jump. Must pay attention to it. And so I have an opinion on Rock Your World. I think he either wins convincingly or he bounces. I don't think there's anything in between for this horse. I think he wins or he's off the board.
Agreed. But he just might be that good.
Yeah. Brian makes a good point that when the Hot Rod Charlie owners got Flavien Prat to ride, I believe Joel was still committed to Concert Tour before Bob took Concert Tour off of the Derby trail there. But then you get Rock Your World. These are the same connections of Accelerate, if I'm not mistaken. You've got Sadler and Ronus Racing. And so, Joel's had some great success with these connections before. And so, to get back on and let's talk about the process for Rock Your World. Why did he start out on the turf? And I've read some articles and I've heard a lot of good people in the industry say that Sadler's a genius because he didn't have to have this horse face Baffert's monsters earlier in his career in those maiden special weights. So he started this horse on the turf, got his confidence up, started improving, and then he sends him against 2 Bafferts and beats him. I think that's genius.
Brian said, I don't know what happened to this tool. Brian wanted us to look at the GSR jump on Brooklyn Strong, but
I think he's the second highest GSR in the field, and he was the last horse to get in.
We might have lost the tool. I'm not sure. It might have went down. We'll see here in a second. Oh, it's back. So, we're back at race 11. Give me 1 second. So Brooklyn Strong, Brady, you're saying has the second highest GSR?
I believe so, if my memory serves me right.
81.
Whew. I'm not doing too bad for 30.
This is is getting an increase there from 9 furlongs to 10 furlongs, which this might be one of the only horses that we saw in the whole field that is actually seeing an increase from 9 to 10. A lot have obviously good GSRs, but getting an increase here. Any thoughts on Brooklyn Strong from either one of you?
I wasn't interested. Go ahead, Scotty. I didn't want anything to do with the 3.
Me either. This horse backed into the Derby. They paid $5,000 for this horse, which is fantastic. It's going to cost them. They're going to have to mortgage the home just to get to Kentucky Derby. But no, I'm teasing because it's great. And for Danny Velasquez, I'm really happy for Danny. So no, I'm teasing. But as far as a win candidate, not for me.
It's a Group 2 horse, and I'm not talking how they classify him in Europe. I'm talking Group 2 of the Kentucky Derby for Brooklyn Strong. Who haven't we mentioned? Helium. That's the King Guillermo of this year, in my opinion. I think coming out of Tampa, there's a lot of hype. They trained him up. Who did he beat in the Tampa Bay Derby? That was the race got a 74 SOR. He would have to take a huge step forward here again. Long layoff. It's a 2-month layoff. And so I'm not interested in Helium. If you had to pick one double-digit horse that could blow up this Superfecta, as we know, the Superfecta in the Derby for $1 is known to pay stacks. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing pays $10,000 tomorrow because that's just what it does. When Justify won the Derby at 5-2, it was Justify over Good Magic over Audible over a bomb that Drayden Van Dyke was running at like 70-1, and the Superfecta paid $19,600. So you had Baffert over Brown over Pletcher over Baum. So who's that horse that you would maybe let sneak into your 3rd or 4th spot? It was King Fury for me until he scratched.
It's highly motivated. It's a Scotty Longshot for sure for me. This horse is most likely going to be in the money. And, almost beat Essential Quality in the Bluegrass. Draws, I think when you have this kind of tactical speed, I think that post is very good. And I think that, I don't know that he wants to go this far, but he's a Scotty Longshot, and that's all that matters to me. So I would say probably highly motivated. Will probably end up going off at about probably 25-1, probably 10-1 on the morning line. What's the E morning line on the horse? The E morning line on the horse is 15 to 1. So yeah, you'll probably get 15 or 20 to 1 on Highly Motivated.
What about the other Brad Cox horse, Mandaloon? Do we have any opinions on him? His workouts are way better than what he brings to the track, and that alarms me a lot, because a lot of these horses can be good in the morning, and then in the afternoon they're just duds. And Cox has been really high on this horse, and so I don't know what to do with this Mandaloon horse. I mean, is he going to show up? He's very inconsistent, and he was very heavily favored last time out, and so I'm not sure what to do with him.
The Risen Star was weak. The Louisiana Derby, Hot Rod Charlie won that going away. I think that this horse has been overbet and won a maiden race.
Favorite every single time.
Yeah, and won an allowance race, and then won a weak Risen Star. Oh, I'm not a fan. This horse is 1% chance of winning, 40 to 1 on the E morning line. This horse will have to beat me for sure.
For me, the bomber was Dynamic One. I thought that with Jose Ortiz and Fletcher here, if there is some type of pace here and we get some horses to go, that Dynamic One definitely could blow up the board and place maybe fourth. I mean, potential here. I mean, this horse is going to be every bit of the probably 30-ish to 1, I would guess. Ran in the Wood, and we've talked about the Wood quite a bit. That's the race that Bourbonic won at some ungodly odds of, 70 to 1 or something like that. And Bourbonic is in this race. But yeah, no, I know.
You hit that one, 72 to 1. The Fletcher exacta that paid $450.
Yeah, it was with
awesome.
Dynamic One and Bourbonic. But for me, there's potential here that maybe this horse can hit the board. I don't know. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time on the vertical. I do think there's a lot of potential here, though, for a nice vertical bet, because I don't love Essential Quality. And when we talk about Known Agenda or Rock Your World or Hot Rod Charlie, you're going to potentially get a couple good-sized prices. And if Essential Quality doesn't hit the board, then this thing's going to pay, so that would be my kind of perspective. For me, I'm kind of looking at Hot Rod Charlie, Rock Your World. I still like Midnight Bourbon to some extent, but then also obviously Known Agenda for me in the first couple spots, and then trying to figure out who were in those kind of third and fourth spots.
I agree. By the way, I agree with you. Dynamic One is a big long shot to get in the money. That was a horse I had pegged as well. I think this horse can run better. I mean, a lot of times this horse just broke its maiden by 5 1/4 lengths over to Aqueduct, and then goes in the Wood right away and barely lost. I mean, ran a good race, was in the lead down the stretch. So, it had every right to lose that race at 15 to 1. And this horse is coming in working really, really nicely here for this second race against Winter. So I think Dynamic One is this could be the bomb. This horse could surprise and actually win the Kentucky Derby. That's how much of a good long shot this is.
Yeah, I'm with you. And you look here, I mean, at Gulfstream, running in the 11 hole here, and ran a good race. And, that's so hard. I mean, to run in the 11 hole, and then you go back, runs in the 9 hole also, and then was on the rail, and finally, gets a short field, but romps and then almost wins the Wood. So for a horse that likely can improve, and you get Jose Ortiz for Fletcher in likely coming off the pace would be my guess. I would love it.
All right, big boy. Oh man, yeah, and Jeff Wilson, he brings up a good point that this Dynamic One horse is just maturing. These are babies; they're 3 years old. I remember what I was like when I was 3 years old. I was a handful. All right, and so the steps forward that these horses can take from race to race are more drastic than it is when they get to their 4-year-old and their 5-year-old years later on. So. Who's going to take that step forward? Might it be Dynamic One?
I think so. I think that horse.
I'm on board.
Yeah,
right,
I see where it's at.
Who are we
using? Okay, I would use in my ticket. I would use the 1 known agenda.
Okay.
I'm using the 9 Hot Rod Charlie.
Okay.
I'm using the 8 Medina Spirit. That's all I need. 1 9 1 8 9.
Can you make a case? Can you make a case for Medina Spirit? Since I don't think we really covered Medina Spirit very much. Aside that's Bob Baffert. I mean, I know you talked about this horse a little bit, and I respect Bob, obviously, but I mean, he's going for his 7th Kentucky Derby winner. It's just not going to be with Medina Spirit.
I said the same thing last year with Authentic, and that's what scares me about it. This horse has really done nothing wrong. Okay, if Life is Good was in this race, he would be the favorite over Essential Quality. Can we agree on that? Undefeated, Bob Baffert horse, most likely. This horse almost beat Life is Good in their second was it their first or their second matchup together? It was
the sham
first matchup. Yeah, it was their first matchup together. And then the second time they faced each other, Medina Spirit set the pick for Life is Good. If you see that first turn in the San Felipe, Medina Spirit went about 3 or 4 paths wide into the first turn and pushed a lot of other horses out, which let Life is Good open up by about 5 lengths in that race. And then Dream Shake was on the inside and then battled out for second. This horse lost to Rock Your World, who just ran the most impressive race that we've seen from a 3-year-old that's going to be in this Kentucky Derby.
But now he's dropping, though. But he's dropping from an 85 GSR in which he already lost to Rock Your World, and now he's dropping to a 70 GSR. Like, you know, he's going in the wrong direction. Rock Your World is going in a better direction. So for me, if I had to choose between the 2 horses, if this wasn't a Bob Baffert horse, and I mean, he'd already be thrown out.
Take the trainer away. Say that this is anybody but Bob. I agree. I mean, I thought that the 15-1 morning line was a little off because it is Baffert. This horse is going to be bet. There's no way that, you know, the fans of the Kentucky Derby aren't going to bet Bob Baffert in the Derby. And then I look, he's beat Hot Rod Charlie, and Hot Rod Charlie is dead game. And if you watch the replay of that race,
just coming on, you have to understand, like, this is why I like Hot Rod Charlie, because this horse is really, like, in the beginning, first of all, like I said, sprinted, right? This isn't a sprinter. Then they put the horse on turf. Like, I got to talk to Doug. You know, Doug used to train my horses. So I got to talk to Doug and say, you need the GSR, because I mean, look he was a 59 and a 57 GSR on the turf, and all of a sudden he goes 8 furlongs on the dirt. He's an 85 and he wins. Then he goes on the 12 hole in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and barely loses that race, breaking 10th, by the way, and then stumbles into RB Lewis and barely loses that race, and then goes Louisiana Derby and then just dominates. And so Doug O'Neill knows what he's doing. And what's amazing about this, you're getting off of this horse if you're Joe Rosario, and you're getting on Rock Your World. Like, I mean, how good is Rock Your World?
We're going to find out. We'll see. I wish I had one more race sample for Rock Your World on dirt. That's the eye test for me.
Yeah, but then
when it comes to Rock Your
the
World,
horse is going to be 2 to 5, right? This is your opportunity, because Essential Quality is going to get bet so hard. Thank you, Mattress Mac. That Rock Your World. If we're going to back Rock Your World, we might get 4, 5, 6 to 1 on Rock Your World.
I think you will. I absolutely think you will. And I didn't expect to get that until the Mattress Mac bet. But, you know, it's going to be Essential Quality, odds on almost. And then you're going to have Rock Your World. And then I think you throw Known Agenda and Hot Rod Charlie as the 3rd and the 4th favorites, probably with the betting public. Everybody else is going to be higher than 10 to 1. And so if you have an opinion here, you can get paid.
Let's put a super together for $1 as we close this out. Or I think we should do the super for $1. So it's $1 minimum. What do we want to run the budget at? $150, $100? What do you guys think?
Probably 120.
Okay. So it throws Essential Quality and Rock Your World. We're obviously against Essential Quality.
I think we have to play against that horse, right? And then if that's the case, look what the ticket generator is doing. It's saying that this is only the 15. So, I mean, I mean, that's really interesting that you're playing that big of a ticket, and it's saying that it's just that, and we do need to add the 11 horse in the next in both all spots other than the win. The 11 has to be added, right? Known agenda.
Look what it's doing. Yeah, look what it's doing in the third spot. It's adding Bourbonic and not highly motivated, Dynamic One.
So here's what you do, Justin. So go take Brooklyn Strong, eliminate the horse so it's not using it, right? So we talk about making positive moves. So just eliminate the horse, the 3 horse altogether. Just eliminate them. Or that. Okay. So
yep.
Right. So that's one thing you can do. And then would you agree with this? If Essential Quality doesn't win this race, do you guys think that maybe he doesn't even come in second?
Yeah,
I could see him almost not getting up in some spots. It's a tough one because he hasn't given us a reason to think that he won't run a big race. He's undefeated. And so I don't know if he's spent from this race maybe, or if he gets into trip trouble. I thought maybe Rock Your World was a more either win or off the board type than Essential Quality was. Because, look how Essential Quality won his last race over Highly Motivated. He was finding more, and he was finding more. This horse is grinding. He's a grinder. Yeah. He has heart. And so I would rather say Rock Your World's going to win or finish 5th or higher than throw Essential Quality off.
And look at that.
Well, that's the ticket. That's what the ticket generator is doing.
Yo, there we go.
The ticket, the ticket generator is saying you're going to win or not hit the board.
Yeah. And then look at that. It did not use Hot Rod Charlie at all.
Who's the 20 that's sneaking on there in the third spot? Is that's
Bourbonic. That's
okay.
Bourbonic.
We didn't want that horse, did we?
It's putting.
We'd probably rather have Known Agenda up there in that third spot for minor awards. I didn't think we were very high on the 20, were we?
I mean, he's coming. Well, I think what they're saying is the ticket generator is saying that Bourbonic and Dynamic One are the horses that are these bombs that are going to hit the board, and it thinks it's going to hit in third spot. That's what the ticket generator is saying.
Okay.
I mean, and it also has highly.
There's 2 algorithms in here that are looking for. One of them's looking for the horse most likely to be second, and another one looking for a horse most likely to be third. Those are individual algorithms that were within the ticket generator, and that's what they look for. So you see these crazy things, and it's amazing how often they come in. So you have to be careful about eliminating horses like that. But I don't know what to make of it because it's not using my horse, Hot Rod Charlie, at all.
So Justin, just regenerate the ticket because I don't think it took off Brooklyn Strong yet. The one that we X'd out.
Didn't. Do we want Essential Quality just out of first and in second, or what do we think?
Let's leave it in second as well.
Okay. And then we'll regenerate here. So we're singling Rock Your World, and then
I don't know
there's what it comes up with.
I don't know what else we can do because otherwise we're going to have to.
I like that a lot better there. So here's what you've got. You've got Medina Spirit and Midnight Bourbon up there that are going to be the pressing on the speed. You've got Essential Quality who's going to run his race, and then you've got Super Stock and Known Agenda that are going to be coming from further back. And so it's got the speed horses, it's got the pressers, and it's got the closers in there. And so I like this ticket. Who's the 17 here? That's Highly Motivated. There we go. The Scotty Longshot's in there too. The horse that's dead game. So that's actually a really good ticket. And spending $120 on the Super and the Derby for $1 is not that bad. This ticket would be $12 if it was a 10-cent base wager on a normal day. And so play a group ticket. Add a couple if you liked that we didn't have there. And play a group ticket because history shows this thing can pay.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm kind of thrown off because it doesn't like Hot Rod Charlie, and it's liking Rock Your World so much. It's incredible.
Well, to Brady's point, Rock Your World is either winning or not hitting the board. I mean, that's literally what the ticket generators just told us, which is such a strong angle for a 25% horse, second second Scotty pick. You know, Scotty, you talked about Sadler hoping to get up here. I mean, maybe this is John Sadler's day with Joel, and we know that Joel maybe got caught up in the jockey agent stuff with dealing with what went on with other horses coming out, and you get a good GSR. I mean, I don't know. This has me kind of thrown for a loop.
Well, I mean, he got off of Hot Rod Charlie. I mean, wow. I mean, maybe this horse is that good. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen on the GSR numbers anyways. I don't think I've ever seen a better bred horse. I mean, this is incredible. But yeah, maybe Hot Rod Charlie, maybe I have to reassess my pick going into tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'm just going to get on Rock Your World's bandwagon and go there. I will say this. Can we play a little bit more on this and just add the 11 in the third and fourth spots? You know what I mean? Like, I think that we have to be, you know, in maybe even the 20. Like, I'm thinking 11 in the fourth spot. Yeah, I'm curious what it does there.
Yeah, it just wants to add. So
this is my new favorite viewer.
I know, right?
He's a comedian.
I like Big Boy. And then the 11. Yeah, exactly. So then lock the races. Let's see what it comes up with. Just lock them. Leave.
So I added the 11 and 20 and third and fourth. That's $148.
Don't regenerate yet. No, don't.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hold on here.
What do you want me to lock? The top one?
No, I think this is good. This is actually good. So 8, 10, 14. So it's got Medina Spirit in the second spot. It is Bob Baffert. You know, these races are so great. I mean, this is, you know, maybe we've got something here in Rock Your World. I know you guys are both on the one hidden agenda. I wish I felt the same way. I just don't feel like that was necessarily that strong of a race. I will say this though, Brady, since they put blinkers on that horse, that's been a different horse.
That's been the difference, because I was against the horse in the Florida Derby. Because I saw one improvement from the blinkers in a race that had nobody in it. I think that was the race where Irad ended up punching Paco in the face after he cut him off at Gulfstream. So I didn't take too much. That was awesome. You know, I love it. I posted a photo on Twitter today of Irad giving Johnny V a high five. And I'll tell you what, man, that is awesome. Our game needs more of that. These guys, you know, they make a good living doing it, and they're having fun out there. And, you know, I know guys like some jockeys get a little flack for being a little aggressive, but, you know, they're all racing at the biggest stage. That's good to see that these guys are all like friends. But yeah, the blinkers made the difference for Known Agenda. I was on the Safi Joseph horse, Calibrator that day, and Known Agenda absolutely circled the field. Greatest Honor was a horse that was in that race that was very highly touted on the Derby trail. And what happened to him? Did he get injured, or did they just take him off? Because, Scotty, you were high on that horse in the Fountain of Youth.
I was. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Here we are with 20 horses, actually 19 now. And, you know, we just had the Derby 6 months ago, but it does feel like it's been a year again, you know. It's good to have it back.
So Dennis says we should use the 9, not the 20. Who's the 20 horse again?
Bourbonic's the 20, the deep closer.
Fletcher, Carmouche. I've seen some Twitter of Carmouche. Like, he's in a really good mood. He's feeling positive, and
he's dancing. He's
dancing around. I mean, this horse raced. And I mean, you know, sometimes you just have to grab onto a race. Do you believe in the Wood? You know, do you believe in the Santa Anita Derby? You know, which race are you looking at? The Louisiana Derby? You know, you have to look at those races and see. I mean,
I think if Defunded wins the Pat Day Mile, you have to immediately upgrade Rock Your World into Medina Spirit, because he finished 4th in the Santa Anita Derby behind Dream Shake and those guys. So watch early. If Defunded wins the Pat Day Mile, you have to upgrade these horses on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Guys, we didn't talk about this sandwich much. And I mean, this is
you
also
want tomato or broccoli and cheese, or like, what do you want?
Well, I personally, any kind of grilled cheese sandwich I'm good with tomato soup is good.
Yeah, I like him, and we talked about him briefly in the beginning that he's done nothing wrong. He didn't get beat by that much to known agenda. I mean, he was only beat by 2 3/4 lengths in the Florida Derby, and so this horse shows speed. Can he be tactical? I think is what I need to know from Soup and Sandwich. You know, the outside posts we have to hate, and I think Gaff Leone got them out because Johnny V's riding for Baffert. And so what's Tyler going to do with this horse? Because Rock Your World's going to go and probably try to sit second or third if he can't get an easy lead behind the likes of Midnight Bourbon and Medina Spirit. And so where does that put Soup and Sandwich? Is he going to be pushed 4 wide into this first turn? That's what I worry about. I think this horse is going to have to cover a lot of ground because I'm not sure he'll be able to get over like Johnny V did on an Authentic. And so that doesn't happen all that often. We've had some really super horses win the Kentucky Derby from some outside posts. American Pharaoh was way out there. Just to name one. And so in Authentic, was he in the 18 or the 17 post last year? 18, because nobody's ever won from the 17. And so it would take a really special horse and a really super special performance. If you give me a choice on where I want to draw, I probably want to draw in between like the 7 and the 10. Like, I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot. Justify one from the 7, Maximum Security cross the line first from the 7. It's all trip for me, and I think Soup and Sandwich is going to have a lot more variables go his way to run good in this race.
All right.
I was looking to see if I could find it. I actually had the best post positions for the Kentucky Derby. I thought I had it, but I at one time.
The best one tomorrow is whichever one wins.
The 10 post being a really good one.
That's Midnight Bourbon.
Yeah. I don't
okay. Look how that ticket blows it up for $150. There you go. You're taking more of a stand for second place. Still no Hot Rod Charlie on there.
No, it just doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
It just.
I tell you what, that might influence me. It might influence me, but then I'll go get on the 15 horse and the 9 wins, and I'm going to kill myself.
Oh man, in this sport, man, it's like we think about those things when we cancel. You guys ever cancel a bet? It's an automatic winner every time you cancel. Never cancel.
Well, so on that note, let me tell you a story. So I remember going to and I love Doug. But Doug O'Neill was my trainer, and I went to him, and I said, "Hey, Doug," I said, "I like this horse, and Carla Gaines' horse off of a layoff. I can't remember the name of it." And I said, "I'd like to claim this horse." So he said, "Okay, let's look at it." It was at Del Mar. He said, "Well, let's take a look at it before the race, Scotty." And so I went up and I singled the horse in a pick 6, put it in. There was a big carryover. Put the ticket in, and the horse is walking by before the race. And he goes, "Scott, I really don't like the horse. Doesn't look very good." So he goes, "I don't want to claim the horse." I'm like, "All right." So I go over and I cancel my ticket. Not only does the horse win by 4 lengths, okay, then goes on to win $500,000 for Julio Canani, who claimed the horse in like the next 3 races. And then the ticket would have hit as well, so it cost me the pick 6.
Oh.
The moral of the story.
Like a dual.
It was like a triple whammy.
Yeah. You know what? It puts trainers in like a tough spot because when they get asked, like, nobody ever wants to tell you their horse isn't live, right? It's kind of funny. I've been hanging around a lot of owners and trainers recently, at Keeneland and Santa Anita, and it's like you ask them, "Hey, how's this horse doing?" "Oh, he's training great." That's what everybody says, though. "Oh, training great, absolutely." And so, why would they tell anybody that they're not?
Doug is pretty good about knowing when his horses are going to run. Yeah. Doug O'Neill, he knows when his horses are going to run. He's been awfully quiet here with Hot Rod Charlie. But I can't get over the fact that Rosario gets off of Hot Rod Charlie to ride Rock Your World. I mean, I've got to believe that that John Sadler believes this is the real deal. I mean, did you show that breeding, Justin? Did you show that GSR Plus on the 15?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
Look at that.
Even in
Sort
the
that
80s going.
Go ahead and sort it.
Say again.
Sort it. There you go. No. There you go. Look at the dirt. Well, first of all, look at the dirt tab of 91. I don't think I've ever seen a dirt tab that big. I mean, and then look at though. It's not like the horse can't run on turf either. A 78 on the turf tab, and then look at. I mean, this is a monster. I mean, this is good breeding. By the way, guys, I was telling Brady this a couple days ago, but we're going to have soon. I think about a month from now, you're going to be able to actually have the GSR Plus and make your own babies. You're going to be able to put the sire in, put the dam in, and then it'll produce the GSR Pluses for you, so you can look and see what your prospective horse might be. So that's coming out soon. I've got some friends I know and big owners that are looking forward to breeding horses and looking at this in the fall. Plus, you're going to be able to, if you're an owner and you want to place your horse strategically in the right place. Doug O'Neill needs this. I'm gonna bring it to Doug as soon as it's done. You'll be able to type your horse's name in there, and it'll pull up the GSR Plus. So you can see where you should place your horse, because and Doug would tell me this before. Trainers sometimes don't know if their horse should be on turf, should it sprint, should it go long. They just don't know, and so the GSR Plus can really help them. And this is and what can help a trainer or an owner, it helps a handicapper.
All good points there on how other people outside of just handicappers can use this. I mean, the GSR to me is the ultimate tool on how to place a horse. If you're uncertain on what the horse's preference is going to be distance-wise or surface-wise or even level, that GSR number, it can tell you a lot more than just handicapping a race. It can handicap where you should put the horse too. And that helps us. It is handicapping because,
right,
we're not going to butt a horse first-time starter if his GSR number is below the rest of the crop. So say that the horse has a 60 GSR, but you're going against a horse like Rock Your World in the maiden. Well, maybe if you're starting at the maiden claiming level at a smaller track, maybe all the GSRs are in like the low 50s, high 40s for the other horses. And so it's the ultimate placement tool, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, agreed. The more I'm looking at Rock Your World, the more I'm really starting to get on this horse. And I'll tell you another thing too. This is for all of us, no matter who you like. I think the fact that Mattress Mac is going to bet so much on essential quality. If we can beat essential quality, and I think we can tomorrow, you're going to get a good price on whatever you like. And I'm not talking about just a win bet. I'm talking about exactas, trifectas, superfectas, pick fours, pick fives, whatever it is. So, have conviction in whatever it is you like. And what I'm probably going to do is just take the 9 and the 15. I might take Highly Motivated just because I'm sick of the Scotty Longshot beating me.
You created it.
I know. I mean, I can't get
you
on the
created
same
a monster.
Thing.
It's a monster. It keeps you up at night sometimes, doesn't it? It keeps me up at night when the Scotty Longshot beats me. It's like this ghost that hovers over you, like I told you so.
For sure. Thank you, Gary. I couldn't agree with you more. I knew when I knew Justin for a while, but I knew when I met Brady, I'm like, oh man, Justin and Brady together are going to be a great pair and great team, and you guys are doing a great job on your shows, and the shows are starting to take off. Like it was amazing. Your guys' show yesterday, Kentucky Derby Oaks, and you guys gave such good stuff. I mean, you had that horse at 17-1, Brady. You had that horse that beat my ass today, the 2-horse Justin. Thanks a lot. Why didn't you tell me?
Are we keeping secrets over here?
Well, it was too late. I said, you have the 2-horse, right? And you told me you got Zygel and somebody else with Aunt Pearl.
The pick 5. I singled the horse in the first leg.
You needed to watch our whole show. That's the problem.
I watched part of it.
Watch the whole show.
I keep pressing. I'm on my phone and I'm pressing the buttons that show the hearts. I like to do the hearts for you guys. So I'm like, I just keep pressing it a bunch of times, you guys. But yeah, I just, hey, I'm going to support my boys. That's all. I mean, but
hey, Scotty, where should we go to dinner at around here?
Oh man, I'm in Orange County. You guys aren't fair. I mean, I'm looking behind you, Brady, and that is beautiful. What's your background right there?
Yeah, it's not bad. We got the pool all lit up and everything, and so it's not bad. I could literally walk to Del Mar in 3 minutes. And so we're probably going to try to find a local spot right around here and have dinner, a couple drinks, and get some sleep for tomorrow. Big day tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day tomorrow, man. We're hopefully going to get some good film, and looking forward to that. And yeah, it's going to be good. All right, so how are we going to finish off with this pick six? So we got the vertical, right? So now we have to figure out what we're going to do in the horizontal bets and the pick six.
Yeah, I like what you did here with the vertical wager. And the horses that we thought maybe didn't have a chance to win, you used in third and fourth. Okay. And the horses that could win, it could steal it. Highly Motivated could steal the race. Scotty Longshot. Essential Quality could win. I think Medina Spirit has an outside shot. I know you guys aren't as high on him. It's not Baffert's year this year, maybe. I like Known Agenda. And so if you have the ability to spread, I was live, me and my buddy Greg Olson, to the ticket a couple years ago when Maximum Security got disqualified, and we didn't have Country House. And so spreading in the Derby with 20 horses, you can find some ticket equity there. We were always like, why couldn't Code of Honor have gotten up for second or Improbable or Game Winner? Mm-hmm. But, we had 10 horses in the race and just couldn't land on – he couldn't see it with Country House.
What are you doing right now, Justin? You're just having a good old time sitting there putting 500. Why don't you just put 2,000 in there?
No, so here's what I was doing. No, I was seeing how 15, high I had to go. No. So I was seeing how high I had to go for the ticket generator not to wanting to add more horses in the first leg. So I was trying to see what did it want to do, how high did I have to go. So when we take out Essential Quality at $150, we came up with our ticket. It made me go up to $600 to add a second horse in the first leg. It just kept wanting to add horses underneath Rock Your World in the Superfecta. So at 150, when we take out Essential Quality, it likes Rock Your World. It's not until $600 that it decides, okay, I'm not going to spread a bunch of underneath. I'm actually going to add Medina Spirit. So it just thinks that Rock Your World, it keeps wanting to put on top in the Superfecta is all I was trying to look at for the ticket generator. So you got to keep putting a bunch of money into it for it to add a horse to beat Rock Your World is what the ticket generator is telling you.
The ticket generator is taking a stand. Really.
It is. Yep. I mean, it could have added a horse.
Oh. Yeah, it could have added another horse on top for sure. And sometimes you'll see that with especially like a try and a super to have, two on top or even three sometimes, but still not getting any love from Hot Rod Charlie. And so maybe that's the one deflection that we can toss. And I hope he doesn't blow us up. I know that horse has a lot of heart and is improving and he gets Pratt and everything, but hey, you can't use them all. And so it's all about how does this all unfold tomorrow and what horses have the best chance of running underneath of Rock Your World on this ticket.
All right,
it'll pay. I promise you that it'll pay.
So let's do a. So this is the Superfecta. Then we're going 15 with 8, 10, 14, 17 with 1, 8, 11, 14, 17, 18, 20 with 1, 8, 10, 11, 14, 17, 18, 20.
That's the super. Yep.
That's the super.
Yep. Do you want to do pick six?
Guys, can I say something? Medina Spirit does this horse have to get second? I mean, here's the thing.
He's never finished outside of second.
Okay, then take him out of fourth. I hate using him. He's taken 3 of our spots, right? And so just take him out of fourth at least.
You want him out of third?
No, I mean, just take him out of fourth. We'll keep him in the second and third spots. And see what happens after that. Maybe it adds another horse. See, it added the 18 in the second spot. I like this ticket better. I think if Medina Spirit doesn't get second in this race, isn't he going to stop? I just
is he going to stop?
I mean, Steve's using Hot Rod Charlie. I don't know what the hell to do anymore. You know, do you worry about like bad juju when they take a jockey off of a horse and now Rosario's on the 9? You know, I love Rosario, but it just seems like in some of the biggest races, sometimes he gets himself into trouble.
Well, Rosario was on Malathot last time at Keeneland, and then Johnny V got back up, and Rosario was on Millefew today. So I think there's a lot that goes into the whole jockey agents and changing things. And like this one, Joel was still on concert tour, a healthy concert tour, and a Derby Trail bound concert tour when Hot Rod Charlie's owner said, we got to get a top rider. And if Joel's not going to choose us, we want Flavian. And so I think that's what happened. Then concert tour got off the trail, and Joel's like, I got to find a Derby horse. Well, not too bad of a one to find. And I feel bad for Rispoli a little bit, but he's going to get his chance. He's a great rider. He's going to have plenty of opportunities going forward. But, you know, Joel's probably one of the first or second guys I'd want on my horse if I had a horse in the Derby.
I feel like we're missing somebody. Who are we missing? There's just one horse we're missing. Who would it be? So we've already established that Gamine is a single. As far as GSRs go, Rock Your World, I don't see Brooklyn Strong. Hot Rod Charlie, I still can't get off of Hot Rod Charlie. I still think Hot Rod Charlie has to be used. I mean, Essential Quality is a really nice animal, 5 for 5, but maybe we take a chance and beat this horse. You know, this horse at 9 furlongs, I'm not sure, you know, I don't think this horse is dropping 13 points in GSR. I'm talking about Essential Quality.
That's a significant bounce, you could call it, bounce down for the extra distance. And everybody's got to understand, these horses are all going 10 furlongs for the first time in their life. And so that's also the beauty of the Derby is trying to figure out who can get it. And the GSR tool is the best one to use for that. And really Rock Your World passes all the tests.
And I think as we're starting to get used to using the GSR and the SOR and all that, we're learning how to use them. Like, you know, you're seeing like 14 the Essential Quality at 90 GSR and then a 77. That's 13 points lower, and he barely won in the Bluegrass. So possibly against this level of competition, maybe this horse is at a disadvantage on the win end. I mean, possibly, right? So you can't account for heart. You know, we don't know what kind of heart Rock Your World has, but we know this horse is bred really good, wants to go longer. But this horse is also dropping 9 points in GSR. I don't know.
Brady, Trail Mix wants to know if we noticed how big of a long shot obligatory was today.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me now? Yeah, we had it Trail Mix. We had it at 16-1 as well. We gave it all away on the show last night, so we hope you had it too.
All right. Anything else? You want me to put a hot rod in here and rerun the generator at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th?
Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I have no idea.
I'm with you. Well, here's an alternative ticket with Rock Your World on top, which is takes Essential Quality out of 4th. I don't know. I think he just Essential Quality may not hit the board. I don't know. I'm with you. Who knows?
Crazier things have happened. Which 4 is it going to be? Hopefully the 4 that we've got on our tickets for tomorrow.
I'm just not sure. I'm betting against Essential Quality tomorrow. I think we're going to be everybody's going to be talking about on Twitter is the $4 million that Mattress Mac lost. And not that I'm rooting for that. From what I understand, he's a really generous, nice guy. But that's a crazy bet. If in fact he did that, I mean, this is an opportunity for people. I mean, if that horse goes off at 3 to 5 in the Derby, with 19 other horses after barely winning in the bluegrass and now going 10 furlongs, which he's never done. Not sure he at this level wants to go. I mean,
well, he's going to have to cover his exposure. So whatever his exposure is, if he keeps on putting another $1 million down and keeps knocking his price down, he's going to have to bet more. So the horse, morning line, is he like 5-2? He's already crushed this horse down to 6-5. And when he bets another $1 million, it's going to be 4-5. And so, he might have an exposure issue by the end of this.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're going to, if this in fact goes down the way we're talking about, I mean, maybe betting to win across the board on a couple of the long shots you like. I mean, imagine Dynamic One comes in second or third or fourth and Essential Quality is not even in the money.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what this is going to pay?
What you're going to see is Essential Quality could potentially pay more to place than he will to win, because apparently Mac's just betting to win. Look at the place pools tomorrow. Last year, Tiz the Law was paying the same to place as he was to win. Justify, I believe, paid $7.20 to win and $6 to place. And so the place bets are not a bad place to be to cover yourself in some situations, especially on these big pools.
So Jeff's saying he might even be batting the exacta. So, I mean, look at the probables. Look at the probables tomorrow as well. I mean, this could be crazy value, right? I mean,
no one's even going to talk about the Derby. They're going to be talking about what Mattress Mac is betting. I mean, seriously, like, I want to know. They should have a camera following this guy all around for the next 24 hours. I would watch.
I'll tell you what, he could change horse racing forever. I tell you, he's the takeout equalizer. If he went around and did a promotion every month, and then every single month chose a race to put $4 million into, it's growing his business and it's helping our pockets.
For sure. I just know that if he goes over and bets all this money on this and Essential Quality is not in the money, this shit's going to blow up.
Well, there's your. I just ran the generator with Essential Quality not in the top 4 picks, and I added Hot Rod Charlie. So there's an alternative ticket.
That
where
listen, hold on, leave that there. I'm playing that ticket. I can tell you that right now. I am playing that ticket. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to play. This is what I'm telling you. I'm going to play that ticket, and I'm going to put the 15 in the second spot. That's what I'm going to do. And as a matter of fact, I might play that ticket 4 times and put Rock Your World in all 4 spots and play Essential Quality to be out of the money, because this is what tomorrow's. It's going to be a huge day tomorrow, and all anyone's going to talk about is how Mattress Mac lost $4 million or he won 50. One of the two. I don't know.
Chris, we know that he's hedging against mattress purchases. We get it. Like, it's just helping the value as a horse player if we are against the favorite, obviously, in this case, Essential Quality.
I mean, all the more reason why I'm going to bet against this horse. I mean, he wins either way because I guess he's doing some sort of special. He'll put a bet on the horse for you, I guess, if you buy a mattress. Is that what he's doing?
Well, essentially, that's what he's doing, because if the horse
kind of rebate or something,
he's got to give away a bunch of free mattresses if the horse wins. So what he does is say, okay, here's the mattress, pay for the mattress, and I'm going to go bet the favorite. So he's essentially betting for you to buy a mattress. Like, that's his promotion. So everybody's like, cool mattress. But, it's crazy. Like, if the horse doesn't win, then nobody gets a free mattress. Or maybe Jeff's saying you're right. So, I don't, maybe I have it a little bit off, but.
No, I think that's the ticket you've got up there right there. Rock Your World. I mean, I just like the name.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so
how good is that going to be down the stretch? And here comes Rock Your World, and like, I just think it's fantastic. It's that's the one. Rock Your World. That's great over Hot Rod Charlie, because Rosario this is how I'm playing this in my mind. Rosario's like, man, this is a tough call right now, but Hot Rod Charlie's fantastic, but I'm going to get off of this horse because I know how good Rock Your World is. So I'm going to call a 9-15 exacta box. That's what I'm playing. 9-15.
You know, it's crazy. The ticket generator put Helium in second place. Could you imagine Helium blowing up the board in second place for 50-1 and Essential Quality not even hitting the board?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be crazy.
And how many times do you see in like the third and fourth spots, you see these horses in like the 17, 18, 19, 20 spot come in those spots? You see it all the time, right? Because they're not in the race early, and then the horses in the front all stop, and then those horses get up late. It happens all the time. Like, take the third and fourth spots and just top load those with like 17, 18, 19, 20. Who's the 19? Is that Eat Your Breakfast?
Stupid half-court press.
It is. Soup and sandwich. It's soup and sandwich.
Oh, I mean, Dave Weaver likes that horse. I don't know. Dave's got some weird luck once in a while.
All right. Do we want to do a pick six, or are we calling it?
Yeah,
We're
let's do the pick. No, for sure we got to do the pick six. So let's finish up the pick six.
Is this a buck or $2? What, I don't know what it is. Hold on, I can look it up.
We'll find out.
It should be 20 cents.
I don't know if it is. Viewers, do you know? I'm checking real quick.
It's 20 cent Derby City mandatory payout.
Okay.
Starting at race 7.
Race 7?
If you just click on pick 6 and it'll, whatever the minimum is, it'll show you. There it is, 20 cents.
All right, how much we want to do?
All right, so we want to do, I figure everybody's going to go and probably go in pools with each other. So why don't we just do $240?
All right. Let me, well, I got horses eliminated. So if you guys see anything, then let me know because it's not going to grab them. But singling Gamine in the first.
Of course.
I'm on board with that.
You knew that.
Move on to the next one there. This is the Jackie's Warrior race, the Pat Day Mile. It goes defunded Jackie's Warrior in the ticket generator.
We had 3, 4, 5, 8 is what we had.
Yeah.
You guys still want to go with that, or do you think that maybe Jackie's Warrior? I'm starting to get on Jackie's Warrior.
I'm on Jackie's Warrior. Who's a more likely loser, Jackie's Warrior or Colonel Liam? I would say Jackie Warrior's probably more likely to lose against these than I feel about Colonel Liam.
I think we said we were going to single Colonel Liam. So which race was that? 11?
That was the 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. So Justin, go to the 11 and just single.
So that gives us about 4 more spots to use in other places.
So go leg 5, Justin, and single.
Sorry, I was clicking on leg 4.
Okay, let's see what it does. Okay. So now let's go to race. So put 3, 4, 5, and 8 in there. Is it doing that? In leg 2. Yeah. We don't need all those horses. Just put 3, 4, 5, and 8 in race 8.
All right, I'm regenerating.
We might be able to get away with not playing such a big ticket. Okay, so race number 9, we had 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, and Brady liked the 13 Scarlet Sky. So if we want to use 6 horses, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13.
All right.
Lock it. There you go. Okay, race number 10. Well, we had taught. Well, Brady, you said Lexitonian. Was that a horse you actually thought could win?
I thought so in a certain scenario if the pace was hot, but I mean that would be probably the 6th horse I would use on this ticket. I liked Mind Control. I liked Flagstaff. I liked Tap It to Win, the Cassie horse that's going to be on the lead. And then I felt like we probably wanted Basin in there before Lexitonian. And then the 12 endorsed has to get some attention as well. So those would be about my 6 if we have 6 to use here. And it looks like it's giving us, as many as we want.
So cut out the 8-1.
Maybe we should spread in here.
Oh, absolutely. Because then it's adding Whitmore in there. It's adding the 1. It's adding, I don't need Fat Man. That's a horse that's a toss for me.
Agreed.
I don't need the Fat Man. I would rather have a horse like Hog Creek Hustle or Lexitonian than the Fat Man.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hog Creek Hustle is an interesting long shot for sure. I don't love the horse, but I would agree with you. Second off the layoff.
And then we've got the Derby. Yeah, we got the Derby fully covered then, with the ticket equity.
Yeah, maybe these are the 2 spread races trying to beat the 8-year-old Whitmore, but I think people could, if they're going to play a smaller ticket, I think they could get by covering less horses in this race number 10 for sure. I think they could get by with Flagstaff. So I think they could get by with 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, probably. But since we're playing a little bit bigger budget here, we could spread in this race and then, of course, spread in the Derby.
All right.
I don't think it might be chalky tomorrow, guys. It might be. If Rock Your World wins, that'll be your second choice in the race, probably.
If Colonel Liam wins, he'll be the favorite.
Colonel Liam wins.
Right? Jackie's Warrior.
Yep. Jackie's Warrior. Exactly. This could be chalky tomorrow. There might not be prices tomorrow.
Then what that gives us is Colonel Liam in race 11, and then in the Derby, that gives us Known Agenda, Medina Spirit, Hot Rod Charlie, Rock Your World. No essential quality. You see the ticket generator did not use the 14 yet.
Well, that's
he X'd out.
No, I X'd him out.
Oh, okay. Let's see what that does now. It's got to knock out one of the outside horses there. Known Agenda, Medina, Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality, Rock Your World. Then we got Soup and Sandwich, Super Stock, and the 17 horse, which is...
That's Highly Motivated.
Highly Motivated, the Scotty long shot.
Well,
boom, there's
we
your
need the
224 bucks.
We got to put the 11 Dynamic 1 has to be on the ticket.
Yes, for sure. Guys, I'm going to call my shot here. I think Bob Baffert's going to win the 9th race with De Jure. I'm getting on that horse right now. I'm really liking that horse a bit. Are we forgetting? Bob Baffert, he shows up on all these big days. Are we forgetting about him? Maybe we are.
He's 15 to 1 in the Derby.
He's 15 to 1 in the Derby.
He's going to show up and win on the turf, man.
I don't know. I'll tell you what, I guess none of these trainers are going to have to worry about testing positive for anything but COVID. Who knows? There's no Lasix.
No.
We have no Hot Rod Charlie in the last race. And we have Soup and Sandwich.
What kind of soup does Hot Rod Charlie like?
What'd you say, Scotty?
I've called that horse I don't know how many different names now. Soup and Sandwich. I'm sitting here. I'm going to be talking to the group. I need to take a picture on my phone and just keep it with me to remember all the horses' names and all the trainers and jockeys and at the end of the day, why don't we just hand the bed of roses to? Let's just give it to Medina. Let's give it to Bob Baffert now. I don't he just wins everything anyways. 15 to 1 right now. I don't understand. Why are we even handicapping this? It's just Bob Baffert, right? How is he not going to win?
I don't know. Paco Lopez isn't in the race to take him out, so there's one deflection. inquiry. I don't know.
I mean, I just listen. Did you guys know John Velasquez and Bob Baffert are 42% jockey trainer combination? They are the highest in the field.
You're talking du jour.
No, Medina Spirit.
Medina.
Oh. He's riding du jour. Oh, Pratt's riding du jour. Yeah, I mean.
I think I could ride 20% for Bob.
Yeah, probably. That's true.
All right. Anything else as we close?
I don't feel like I have any idea. Just like I didn't before we started, I still don't feel like I have any idea.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone. Tweet us your plays.
Here, if I summarize, Gamine is probably a single. We think in race 8 that, maybe Prevalence can show up. Jackie's Warrior is going to be tough. Defunded is questionable. If we go on to race 9, we think this race could potentially be open, but Bob might show up with du jour. Win from Within has some potential. Annex we didn't love, but Chess's Dream has a long shot. And then we go on to race 10. Whitmore might show up, right? But who knows? If Whitmore doesn't show up, this race is wide open. And then we obviously talked a lot about Colonel Liam. And then the Derby, who knows? But the ticket generator loves Rock Your World. If you don't like Essential Quality, the ticket generator likes Rock Your World.
Yeah.
Lots of booms tomorrow.
Who's the most likely winner tomorrow on the card?
Gamine.
Yeah.
Likely winner that's going to be a decent price. Colonel Liam at 8-5.
Yeah, I would agree with that. How are you going to play that in the verticals?
Oh, well, that's a contest winning play.
Right.
I'm going over Smooth Like Straight and Ride a Comet in second to try to get away from the Chads, because I think if I can get Ride a Comet up for second or Smooth Like Straight to hang on, I think my exact is probably going to pay $15 plus. With the Chads, I don't think it'll do that. It'll be single digits.
I think you can go cold, probably 3-5.
Yeah, me and Flavian, for some reason, never get on the same side of each other. I don't know what it is. He beats me every time I don't use him, and every time I use him, it's like the worst thing happens. Like the horse falls over, or he falls off. I don't know. Me and Flavian, we need to. I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen, but me and Flavian are not winning at 42% like him and Bob are.
You know who I was with? I mean, this is before you guys' time, but I was like that with that Eddie Delahousie. I mean, he just killed me. I mean, nobody closed better than Eddie. He couldn't break out of the gate for his life. And but whenever I bet against him, he killed me. When I bet with him, he didn't win. The horse broke last every time. Anybody else, any of the old timers out there remember that with Eddie? I mean, nobody. If he was coming down the stretch, he was passing you every time. But he could not break out of a gate. But I had that same thing with him. So, all right. So 4-3. This looks like a good enough ticket. I mean, who knows?
Let's hit it.
Yeah, let's hit that thing. All right, wrapping it up, guys. Gamine looks like the speed. I guess real quickly, is there a way of playing her knowing that she's such a big free square? Is there a way of playing her and making money in the contest tomorrow, Brady? Do you have a horse maybe you would key her with, or would you pass on this race?
I would take Sconson underneath the 2, and I like that horse running late, and the horse does like running in Kentucky, and so I thought for second place was up for grabs between Sconson the 2 and Bell's the 1, the 3. And so I chose the 2 in my notes to play in the contest. I think you're only going to get maybe $4 or $5 for the exacta. And so it would be just a straight play, not using any others underneath besides Sconson.
I'm playing the 4-3-1 cold.
I do like Bell's the 1 per second, the Scotty long shot. I agree with that. Yeah.
The Neil Pesson horse. Yeah.
Yeah, the Neil Pesson horse. I mean, this horse looks really good. It just has that type of finish. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun tomorrow. The pools are gonna be huge. It's gonna be a great show. Looking forward to that as well, and looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow over at Monarch. We're gonna have a good time over there in Del Mar, and it should be fun. And I guess we'll figure out the wagering and what to do then. As far as the tournament goes, Brady, how big is the tournament, and how do you enter into it?
Yeah, it's through Xpressbet, so you can play on the mobile, and I believe they're probably going to have 200 participants. I mean, this is kind of like as big as the Grade 1 Gamble was at Keeneland, and so I think they're going to get a good showing. And the rules are you have to place 5 $200 bets on 5 separate races, and you have to go through the whole bankroll as well. And so, you know, I'm still borderline on if I'm going to play the contest tomorrow. I'm going to decide in the morning because you don't want to play the contest if you only have a couple of strong opinions. And so if you do have more than that, then you can make some money in the, you know, verticals and obviously the double pools, which is what I try to focus on, are the doubles. And so I have a very strong opinion late in the card, so I don't just want to burn contest plays with show bets. I don't like doing that. But, you know, depending on what I think my late play could pay, I might do that. So I'm going to decide in the morning. It's like a game time decision for me. We've got the event going on, so I want to be focused on that. Yeah. And when you're trying to play a contest and then also entertain, it can be tough. I tried to do that last year at my Derby party, and you know, we had a little too much party, and we forgot about some of the wagers. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun regardless.
So, are you guys going to wear? Are you guys going to wear any hats tomorrow for the event, for the occasion? I mean, I just picture you guys wearing those like foo-foo hats and like.
I've never worn one. I've never worn one.
No. Justin, you?
No hat for me.
You're not going to wear your humble. You're not going to wear your humble hat, are you? I mean,
no. I'm going bald tomorrow. All bald.
You are. What are you wearing tomorrow? Are you dressing up? You know, it's pretty dressy tomorrow, and I don't know.
I'm suit and bow tie, bro. Suit, bow tie.
You're bow tying it tomorrow?
Yes, I am 100%. I'm wearing my bow ties that I bought from Keeneland. I bought 2 bow ties from Keeneland when I was there.
I can't wait to see this.
Oh yeah, yes.
Bow tie, and I love it. You know, maybe what we'll do, maybe I'll buy us all an entry, right? Just one, and maybe we'll play together tomorrow in that tournament, right? And then because we're gonna be busy, right? So, but maybe all 3 of us, maybe we could figure it out, and it'd be fun just to like do an all-star ticket, you know, or a contest entry. What do you guys think? We could do something like that. That'd be kind of fun, maybe.
Put 3 minds together.
Yeah, you know what I mean? We could do something like that. What'd you say? What's the amount of the entry?
3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, for a 2,000 bankroll.
Okay, 2,000 bankroll. We got them right. We want them. Okay, so if we were going to do that, so maybe we go, okay, we got to meet in the 7th race. In the 8th race, we've got Jackie's Warrior. We just go for it. And then we got who would
try to build the bankroll for Colonel Liam's our go-to. I think that we absolutely unload on. Like, I want to pound this horse tomorrow. And so I think this reminds me of the Pegasus contest so much. We need to find the winner in race 10 that we're going to double into Colonel Liam. I think that's the key. And then keep a rolling double into the Derby. But we've got some time to figure that out as well.
And De Jure, I mean, De Jure is 8-1 on the morning line for Bob Baffert in race number 9. You know nobody's going to bet him because they don't think Bob can win on the turf.
Baffert on the turf, yeah.
And Flavian Pratt's aboard. This horse, the top win percentage, both those horses, Annex and winning from within, they both look like decent horses, but they just look like contenders in here. They don't look like standouts, that's for sure. And I mean, what this horse has done in the last couple of races has been tremendous. The only blemish was by 3/4 of the length in its first lifetime race, and the horse had a terrible break, went 5 wide. I mean, you know, maybe this horse de jure is nice. If you look at the turf tab, this horse is all day turf. Doesn't even want dirt. It's all turf. So de jure might be a horse that I'm looking at this every race and thinking, oh, okay, well maybe there's something there. Whitmore in race number 10, possibly. I think I'm getting more on Whitmore. I'm getting off of Flagstaff, which could bite me in the ass. But and of course we all love Colonel Liam. That's probably my favorite horse right now. So I know that I'm going after Colonel Liam. Oh, maybe we got to put in a ticket. I don't know. You said you liked the last couple of races, Brady. Before we go, is there anything? Because I liked something as well. I'm curious what you liked in the 13th at Churchill.
Yeah. So Baffert had a horse, Triple Tap, that was very impressive on debut. That is going to scratch for tomorrow. And so with Baffert not being in that race, that goes to Prime Factor and Calibrate. And you guys probably remember Prime Factor. That's the WinStar horse that was so highly touted going into the it was either the Holy Bull or the Fountain of Youth, where Greatest Honor absolutely ran him off his feet. And so I'm interested to see what we get from Prime Factor, because he's had 2 chances and just couldn't connect. Then you get Calibrate. This was the Jackie's Warrior in Asmussen's barn before Jackie's Warrior came on the scene. I liked this horse a lot after his maiden, and then just never really improved. I was going to single Triple Tap until the scratch. And so the contest actually ends on the Derby, so on race 12. So we cannot have anything rolling from race 12 into race 13 in the contest. So they cap it off on race 12.
Right.
So we'll hopefully be holding the trophy and the check tomorrow afternoon.
Tulane tries the 3 in race 13 is very sneaky as Scotty Longshot. You're getting a huge GSR angle. You're getting a great morning. The morning line doesn't love it, but I think this horse with Gabe Saez is interesting in race 13.
And I'm all over Joel Rosario and Wesley Ward, the 7-horse One Fast Cat in race number 13.
He's gonna win at 6.5.
Yep, because he broke from the rail last time out against a much stronger field than this, and broke 8th, and still barely lost that race. And that was first time on the dirt against nice allowance horses, and after running on the synthetic up at Turfway Park. I think One Fast Cat's the real deal. Now, what about the 14th race?
Mr. Sippy?
That's going to be me here in a little bit.
Brady, did you like something in here?
This was a race that I didn't have an opinion on. Okay. I stopped at race 12. And so I know that there is that late pick 5, but this is a maiden special weight with a whole lot that I don't know what to do with. And so I read on the Mississippi horse. This 8 horse, the Scotty Longshot, was the one that, if I had to choose one here, this KC Rocket for Mana and Stall. And it's had a couple of times. And sometimes in these maiden races, I like to take the horse with experience. And so he's had 2 starts. And so maybe he just needs to catch the right field. Let's see here. Other than that, I really didn't see anything that was that impressive off the top. Did you guys see anything?
I thought the 1-horse Bag Boss was interesting because this horse isn't a proven loser and does break from the rail, but I think this horse can sit some. And I think I was kind of impressed with that race with Corey Lannery's aboard for Brendan Walsh, but maybe give a little bit of a look to the 1. But Mr. Sippy should get a very good trip and be awfully tough. Probably the horse to beat for sure. Second off the layoff as well. So, but I thought the 1 definitely Bag Boss has a look. All right, guys. Well, good stuff today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We hope you guys have just a great Kentucky Derby. Tomorrow, it's going to be a big weekend, but tomorrow is going to be just outstanding. There's 14 races from Churchill Downs tomorrow, so it's going to be incredible. And wish you guys all the best, guys. Brady, Justin, looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun and great assessment on everything. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow too, right?
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the Monarch.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Monarch tomorrow. Fun stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay. We'll see you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Bye.